Please rise for the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good evening, and welcome to the April 14th, 2026 regular meeting of the Jackson Township Council. Pursuant to the provisions of the New Jersey's Open Public Meeting Act, adequate notice of this meeting was properly provided by transmitting a notice of the meeting on January 9th for publication. Notice of this meeting in the Township Council has been posted in the corridor of the municipal building, on the Township website, in the office of the municipal clerk. We'll begin with a roll call. Councilman Borelli?
Here.
Councilman Bressi?
Here.
Councilman Pollock?
Here.
Council Vice President Paul Mary?
Present.
Council President Bernstein?
Here.
Also attending this evening is Mayor Kuhn, Attorney McGuckin, Administrator Tarafanko, and myself, Sandra Martin. We will now hear opening comments from the Township Council, starting with Council President Bernstein.
So first of all, I want to welcome everyone to the meeting. We enjoy seeing a full house. A special congratulations to the young ladies in the front. Well deserved, and we'll talk more about that shortly. I also want to congratulate the police department. I found out about a half hour before the meeting that with these new hires, we will be at the largest amount, I think, in Jackson PD's history. Something that's been the mayor and council have been working actively on. So we're very proud of this moment. And I also want to thank the mayor, because this would not have been possible without the grant, the federal grant that the township finally got last year. So we look forward to all the exciting things tonight. Thank you and have a good night.
Council Vice President Paul Mary.
Thank you, Clerk. I just would like to start by congratulating our new officers. Thank you for your service. Thank you for your dedication to our town. May God bless you and your families. I would like to also thank all of the teams that participated this weekend for the Clean Communities. Thank you for your service and participation. And something that's very near and dear to my heart, our cheerleaders. My daughter was a cheerleader from Mighty Mites all the way. She's the D14. She's a high school varsity cheerleader now. So I know how hard you work, the hours of dedication, the days, the weeks, the months that you put in for 2.5 minutes on that mat. It is something that every member of your team has to work diligently hard for to hit. And every member is equally as important, whether you're a flyer, back spot, front spot, tumbler, you're all equally important, because every single member has to hit for you to be champions. And you are champions. So if I could just, can we get a round of applause for our champions, please? And I would be remiss if I didn't say the coaches. Your coaches, I'm sure, have sleepless nights trying to tweak the routine the day before, right? It's like, we got to throw something else in. So your dedication does not go unnoticed. We know how hard you work. And to the parents, I'm a cheer dad for over a decade. So I know every time we go to a competition, we're as excited as we can be, but our heart is in our throat because we see our kids go out there. And I can tell you, Jackson parents are a rowdy crowd. When you go to competitions, Jackson's got to be one of the loudest parents in New Jersey. So we're very proud, and we're very proud of you. You did something that not everyone can do, not every team can do, and you work together. So take that teamwork with you as you go through life, because life is about teamwork, hard work, and dedication. So congratulations to you. I'm so excited we're going to honor you tonight. So just to shift gears slightly, and I'll make this as briefly as possible. I know we have a packed agenda. I just want to say to everyone, I am looking forward to, and I will work with anyone on this dais, whether it be a council member, the mayor, the business administrator, or even any resident. If anyone has any good ideas for the betterment of Jackson, reach out to me. I'm here to work with everyone. Politics aside, let's just do some good for our town. We may not always agree, but that's okay. Let's talk it through, and let's do something good here. And fourthly, if I didn't mention this, it would bother me, because it's something that's been on my mind. And this is definitely something that the state put us in. And I'm going to say this now with our D14 girls here, because I know a lot of them go to our schools here in Jackson. So I was listening to the Board of Ed meeting, the last one, and Business Administrator Baginski was talking about the 26-27 school year. And he said, for the first time in the history of Jackson Township, we have more private school students than public school students. We have about 7,000 public school students and about 8,500 private school students. And I'm actually really excited to see that there's so many kids in Jackson. There's a lot of young families here. But there's something that the state needs to address. The state mandates for private school busing to be paid for by the local districts. Now, I understand when they passed this 60 some odd years ago, this was considered for a handful of students. But now with so many private school students, and this is not the problem of the parents choosing to put their kids in private school. They're not to blame. The state's mandate is to blame because they are basically saying they're going to mandate something and not pay for it. So if we look back in 2018, we had about 600 students that were in private schools, and that was about $600,000 in the budget. For 26-27 school year, it's going up to $10 million in private school transportation. So that has to be fixed because we can't have the cost of that going up. S2 for 9 years, cutting the state aid to our district. It's a recipe for disaster. And the chef is the state of New Jersey. So we need the state legislature to fix this because we are an outlier here in Jackson. We are an outlier where we have more private than public school, and that's okay. But the state needs to pay for their mandates. They can't just leave it on the local municipalities and the Board of Education because that's unsustainable and that's going to hurt the entire town. So I hope that the state is listening, and if not, I will be talking to our state legislators and petitioning and advocating for them to fix this before it gets way out of control. So thank you.
Councilman Borelli?
Thank you, Clerk Martin. I concur with Council Vice President Palmieri. It's really an unfair school funding formula, unfortunately affecting students in our town and in other towns across our great state, particularly in the rural suburbs of our state. So you sound a little bit more optimistic than me about the current makeup of the legislature making any changes, but we can always try, right? So, and that's what we will try to do. Please join us in keeping our newly sworn in police officers coming up, sworn in police officers, keep them in our thoughts and prayers as they go about keeping our town safe and secure 24/7. Very thankful for you gentlemen and your strong willingness to serve and protect. And congratulations, of course, to the young ladies in the front here and your coaches. Like your parents, our town is very proud of you and your accomplishments, and keep up the great work and sportsmanship. And again, on behalf of Jackson residents and taxpayers, I hope to see and review this year's municipal budget soon and vote on it. Have a good evening. Thank you.
Councilman Brassi?
Thank you. First, I want to congratulate the cheerleading with the national championship. I know you have to put 100% out every time, and that's what you've done. And we're all very proud of you. And also the dedication of the parents and the support the parents give you all the time. That's got to be there too for you to put out the 100%. And not enough can be said about the coaches. And we thank all of you very, very much. It's a great night also because we're hiring 8 new officers. And as the council president mentioned, it brings us up to the highest number we've had. And we look forward to you, want you to serve. We're proud of you. Serve safely and protect the town like the rest of the police force does. And I have to agree with Mr. Giuseppe here. More than the school mandates that we have to pay for, there are many mandates the state's putting down our throat that we pay for, and they just keep throwing at us. There's a lot that has to be addressed at the state level. It sounds like we're just passing the buck, but it's not. From affordable housing to the school budgets, there's so many state laws and stuff passed on to us as a township that's getting very hard to absorb. But I do agree with you. And thank you for coming out this evening. It was a good night to be here. We're celebrating the championship for the girls. Hired 8 new cops. It's a great night. Thank you for coming out. Go home safely.
Councilman Pollock?
First, congratulations to the youth cheerleading. You guys are champions. That's something you're going to carry throughout your entire life. But also, that's a mindset. Keep with you throughout your entire life and bring that to everything you do. To our police officers being sworn in, thank you guys for your service. It's a pleasure. Thank you for taking this step in your career, in serving Jackson. You're well appreciated. You guys know me, I have certain issues I always like to talk about, so I'm going to get into one right away. I'm still very concerned that we chose to plan 58% of our affordable housing obligations in the Pinelands. And if people don't know about the Pinelands, it's one of the most environmentally sensitive regions in the state, and it's protected land. It's a fragile ecological system with strict rules on development, density, water use, and environmental impact. We intentionally chose to plan our affordable housing there, not just a little bit of it, 58% of it. And we also, at the same time, decided to increase density. For being against overdevelopment, we decided to increase density to 8 units per acre in an environmentally sensitive area. I'm not sure why we would do that. These are questions we need to keep asking. I don't believe that's responsible planning. And what this is doing is accelerating overdevelopment in the worst places possible. When you break it down, there's land in Jackson. It's going to get developed. We can say we're against overdevelopment all we want. But if we chose protected land that's environmentally sensitive, what is that saying? Because all the other land is going to get developed as well. We need to focus on protecting what needs to be protected in Jackson. Another issue I wanted to bring up, before I was even a candidate for political office, I was talking about yearly rental inspections. And I'm really glad that we implemented that in this town. I think it's a great thing. But I do have some concerns about how we did it. We chose to grow our government and create a new bureau. We're a civil service town, and I'm still not clear whether this bureau falls under civil service. More importantly, this bureau doesn't even have full enforcement authority. They cannot issue municipal court summonses or complaints, and they have to refer to other departments for violations. We added another layer of government for one single task, and it can't even fully perform that task. And now there's a pattern you're going to see in Jackson. Layers of government, bureaucracy, more ordinances, more government, and honestly, less effectiveness. At some point, you got to sit back and ask what's going on. So these are some of the issues we're dealing with here, and I'm hoping we can work them out over time. Thank you very much.
Next on the agenda is comments by Mayor Kuhn.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Good evening, everyone. Tonight marks just over 6 months since I've had the honor of serving as your mayor. In that time, one thing has become very clear. Real progress happens when we work together. The initiatives we are moving forward are not driven by one office or one department, but by true team effort across our administration and all of our departments. I'd like to take a few moments this evening to share updates on several important initiatives that share commitment and collaboration. First, the Little Free Jackson initiative is something I'm especially proud of, not just because it was launched by the administration, but because of how many people have already stepped up to support it. Keeping our town clean, safe, and beautiful is a responsible way we all share, and it takes a team effort to make it a lasting impact. I also want to take a moment to recognize our Clean Community Coordinator in the Department of Public Works. Without her leadership and initiative, we would not be seeing the levels of success we have so far, so thank you. We know the real strengths of this initiative comes from community involvement. That's why on May 17th, we'll be hosting a community-wide volunteer cleanup effort. This is an opportunity for all of us, residents, family, local organizations, and volunteers to come together and take pride in our town. To make it even more special, we encourage residents all ages to sign up. However, any children ages 12 and younger who register by emailing litterfree@jacksontwpnewjersey.net will receive a certificate of merit from Jackson Township and be sworn in as a deputy litter-free officer, complete with a badge. In addition, our administration is continuing its coordination efforts to address illegal rentals. That is not a one-department issue. It is a team-driven approach that ensures every concern is handled thoroughly and effectively. Our Rental Safety Bureau is actively conducting inspections to ensure properties meet all required safety standards. When issues are identified, they are immediately shared with the appropriate department, code enforcement, zoning, and the building department, so that action can be taken without delay. This level of coordination ensures that no issues fall through the cracks. At this time, we remain fully committed to protecting the rights and well-being of all tenants. Every resident deserves to live a safe, properly maintained home. Our team is working together to investigate complaints, conduct inspections, and hold property owners accountable for violations related to maintaining safety hazards and occupancy standards so that the quality of life of neighborhoods can be upheld. I apologize. These initiatives reflect a broader commitment, not just to enforcement, but to collaborating, accountability, and results. By working together across departments and alongside our residents, we are making meaningful progress in preserving the quality of life here in Jackson. To the residents who have raised concerns about litter and cleanliness, your voices have been heard. To those of you who have spoken out about illegal rentals, your voices have been heard. And to most importantly, as a team, we are not just listening, we are taking action and moving forward together. Milestones have been made here, as the council has said. We're up to 120 officers. Today, I was at the training facility of our Jackson Police, and I was completely amazed, proud that we're building this team together between council and administration. Under our chief's leadership, I know that you guys are in great hands. I walked into where the training center is on this, I'm going to call it a campus, and I saw our previous sworn-in officers with their field training officer getting training. And it was really, really enlightening, encouraging, and I was very proud to be a Jackson resident and to be the mayor of this town at that point. For the girls, I have a speech for you when you guys come up, but I want to keep that special to just to you guys. So thank you and have a good evening.
The next item is comments by Administrator Tarafanko.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Good evening, everyone. I just wanted to provide a brief update on the Housing Bureau and the mere fact that we listen to the residents. We continually get feedback every single day from the residents regarding concerns throughout the community. And to that end, with the assistance of council, we're going to be making revisions to our ordinance as it stands to address those concerns. So we hear you and we're responsive to your needs and we're going to be moving forward. So thank you.
The next item for tonight's meeting is an update from the Department of Public Works. Council President Bernstein.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Crews have been collecting bulk items and brush since March 23rd. Bulk pickup is now complete in Zone 2 and 3, and brush collection in Zone 2 is nearly finished. Beginning Monday, April 20th, crews will move to Zone 4 for bulk pickup and Zone 3 for brush collection. Residents in these zones are asked to place all bulk items and brush at the curb by Sunday night prior to their scheduled pickup. Jackson Township Clean Communities hosted a highly successful volunteer cleanup on Sunday, April 12th. A total of 283 participants from local Jackson-based school groups and nonprofit organizations took part in this effort. Together, they collected 291 bags of litter, covering approximately 29 miles of roadway throughout the township and the Justice Complex. In addition, crews are continuing cleanup efforts in local parks. Some playgrounds may be temporarily closed over the next week or so as crews refresh the safety surface mulch. And I just want to add two things. A special thank you to the county. They've also been out. They saw our initiative online. They've been picking up litter throughout the town on some of the county roadways. And there have been multiple residents who have reached out about some of the parks. And I know that the mayor, together with DPW, are looking at some safety measures that we could put into some of the parks for after hours for some of the things that may be going on when it's dark. So thank you.
The next item is a proclamation. Council President Bernstein.
Yes, I'm going to ask the mayor to read it with regard to I would ask for anyone who's here from any of the fire departments to come up. I think we have representatives from all the districts here, some of the chiefs, commissioners, anyone who's here from the fire department, if you can please come up.
Can I say a couple words regarding to it?
Sure.
Okay. So for the fire department, so we were at, it's been 78 years since we've had a tower, the latest tower, and we have one in Jackson. I'll read the proclamation.
The fire officials come in. You can come in the front.
If you could.
We want to recognize you for a minute.
I'll read it because I want everybody to hear what this is about. This was given to us. I was at the ribbon cutting, and Senator Latham Tiver, I believe it's Tiver, presented it to me, and I felt that it was, and as well as council felt that it deserves to go to our fire departments. So we asked them to come here. Council was kind enough to ask them to come here. Whereas fire lookout towers have long played a critical role in protecting New Jersey's forests, communities, and natural resources by providing early detection of wildfires and supporting coordination emergency response efforts. And whereas the state of New Jersey continues to invest in modernizing its wildfire detection infrastructure to ensure the safety of residents, first responders, and surrounding environments. And whereas this newly constructed fire lookout tower in Jackson replaces a previously dismantled structure and represents a significant advance in fire monitoring capacity, improving visibility, response time, and overall public safety. And whereas the construction of this tower reflects the dedication and collaboration of the New Jersey Forest Fire Service and those involved in the safeguarding of our state's wooded land and communities. And whereas the grand opening of this fire lookout tower marks an important milestone in strengthening wildfire prevention efforts and prevention New Jersey, preserving natural resources for future generations. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed that I, Senator Latham Tiver, do hereby recognize and command the grand opening of the Jackson Township Fire Lookout Tower and extend sincere appreciation to all of the efforts who made this project possible. I just want to say this, again, it's been over 78 years, so this is really a great honor. So.
I think there were more firefighters before. They might have went out for a call or something, but, oh, I think they got a call. Okay, Council, if you want to join the mayor. Madam Clerk.
The next item on the agenda is the certificate of achievement portion.
Mayor Kuhn.
Okay. All right. Good evening, everyone. On behalf of council, administration, and myself, I want to extend a huge congratulations to our incredible Jackson cheerleaders. Our D14 2025 AYF national champions have made history once again, showcasing outstanding skills, precision, and true teamwork under pressure. As a former Jackson Jaguar, I can tell you once a Jaguar, always a Jaguar, and clear the spirit sticks. These young ladies represent the very best of Jackson, both on and off the mat. We are also deeply grateful to the parents, grandparents, aunts, uncles, coaches, and whoever has managed to survive the glitter, the early mornings, and the endless practice schedules. Your support is what makes this success possible, and it does not go unnoticed. Congratulations again to our champions. You've made Jackson Township incredibly proud. Thank you. Coaches, if the coaches can come up.
I would ask the coaches if you can join the mayor in the front, please. Christian, do we have a mic?
Yelling this thing.
Gabby? Kalia? Danica? Lisbeth? Bryn? Kim? Janaya? Alana? Kin. Olivia. Christine. Val. Delia. Audrey.
A special round of applause for all the girls. Now, girls, if you could all stand a little closer for a group picture. Just here. Congratulations, girls. Mayor, you stay down there. Congratulations again. Keep it up. Thank you. Girls, feel free to stay, but if you want, feel free to go also. We're going to continue with our meeting. And now we're going to move on to the police, Chief Nelson. Chief Nelson and Mayor Kuhn, if you can come up to the front. We're going to wait 60 seconds for anyone who wants to leave. Yeah, you go with the chief, yeah. Whoever. Chief Nelson, whenever you... Stand in the middle, if you don't mind. Okay. If you can stand in the middle. Know how to do it. Yeah. Chief, the floor is all yours.
Can you hear me? Good evening. Thank you for coming out tonight. As you heard, it's an exciting night for us in Jackson Township. Tonight not only is exciting for these 8 fine young men who are taking a pivotal movement into their profession, but it's also exciting for us as a police department as a whole. We now stand with these 8 young men at 120 strong. This achievement is exciting for us as a police department because it's been years in the making. And I have to say, without the support of the mayor, the business administrator, council president, and the council, it wouldn't be possible. So I thank you for your dedication to public safety and for helping us to get where we need to be to continue to serve the residents of Jackson. It truly means a lot to us. I just wanted to take another moment before I introduce our new police officers to say thank you to our police dispatchers. April 12th through the 18th is National Public Safety Telecommunicator Week. A dispatcher is our first responder. They're the calm before the chaos, or they bring calm to the chaos. They're the first responder, and that's the voice on the other side of the phone that guides the resident and the police officer in critical moments. The other great thing about a police dispatcher is they get to tell the police officers what to do. And they do it really well in Jackson. So thank you to our public safety dispatchers. It's National Public Safety Telecommunicator Week, and it's a time for us to just pause and take a moment and thank them. Our first officer that we're going to introduce tonight is Caden Latoul. Caden, if you want to come. Congratulations. Caden Latoul was born in 2002 in Highlands, New Jersey, and raised in Middletown, New Jersey, where he grew up surrounded by family and a strong sense of community. He attended Middletown High School North, where he played football for all 4 years. Known for his toughness and versatility, Caden contributed on both sides of the ball, demonstrating the work ethic and determination that continue to define him. Following graduation, Caden spent 3 years working as a carpenter apprentice in the union, where he developed a strong foundation in hard work, discipline, and teamwork. While he valued the experience, he ultimately chose to pursue a career in public service to make a more direct impact on others. Caden attended the Monmouth County Police Academy, graduating as a member of the 108th class on May 28, 2025. Shortly thereafter, he began his law enforcement career as a Class II police officer with the Seabright Police Department in late May, early June of 2025. Family plays an important role in Caden's life. He is the son of Cecilia and Jim, with step-parents Jason and Dana, and his 3 sisters, Shay, Alana, and Brooklyn. He also shares a close bond with his grandmother, Barbara, and values the time he spends with his family. In his free time, Caden enjoys staying active, whether working out, hiking, or spending time outdoors. He values time spent with family and friends. Caden takes pride in his roots, and he remains committed to serving his community with dedication, professionalism, and integrity. Caden Latoul.
Christian, can you pass another mic?
If there's anybody that's going to come up to hold the Bible or your family, if they could come up now, Caden's family.
Raise your right hand.
Raise your right hand. You ready? Please state your name.
I, Caden Latoul,
Do solemnly swear or affirm.
to abide.
No. You repeat after me, sir. It's okay.
Restart.
Restart. We'll restart. You ready? Repeat after me. Please state your name.
I, Caden Latoul,
Do solemnly swear or affirm
do solemnly swear or affirm
that I will support the Constitution
that I will support
of the United States
the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey.
that I will bear true faith
That I will bear true faith
and allegiance to the same
and allegiance to the same,
and to the government's establishment
to the government's establishment
in the United States
in the United States
and in this state
and in this state,
under the authority of the people,
under the authority of the people,
and that I will faithfully,
and that I will faithfully,
impartially,
impartially,
and justly perform
and justly perform
all the duties
all the duties
as a police officer
as a police officer
of the Township of Jackson
as the Township of Jackson,
according to the best of my ability, so help me God.
according to the best of my ability, so help me God.
Congratulations.
Congratulations, sir. Great job. Don't worry about it. You were the first one, don't worry.
Our next officer is William Bradley. William Bradley was born in Freehold, New Jersey, and raised in Jackson, New Jersey. He graduated from Jackson Liberty High School in 2024. During his time at Jackson Liberty, William was a member of the football team, playing both defensive back and wide receiver. In his senior year, he was honored as team captain and named most valuable player, reflecting his leadership and athletic performance. Since graduating, William has remained actively employed working at Spring Meadow Golf Course and Spike's Fish Market. He is scheduled to begin training at the Ocean County Police Academy on April 24th. William's family includes his older brothers, Joseph and Jake, his mother, Jennifer, and his father, Daniel. In his free time, he enjoys playing golf, fishing, and spending time with family and friends. William looks forward to serving the community with integrity, honor, and compassion.
Williams family?
Yep. Shaking his hand?
There you go. All right, you ready? You got this? Please state your name
William Bradley.
and repeat after me. I do solemnly swear or affirm
I do solemnly swear or affirm
that I will support the Constitution
that I will support the Constitution
of the United States
of the United States
and the Constitution
and the Constitution
of the State of New Jersey,
of the State of New Jersey,
that I will bear true faith
that I will bear true faith
and allegiance to the same
and allegiance to the same
and to the governments established
and to the governments established
in the United States
in the United States
and in this state
and in the state
under the authority of the people,
under the authority of the people,
and that I will faithfully,
and that I will faithfully,
impartially,
impartially,
and justly perform
and justly perform
all the duties of a police officer
all the duties of a police officer
of the Township of Jackson
of the Township of Jackson,
according to the best of my ability. So help me
according
God.
to the best of my ability, so help me God.
Congratulations.
James Spampanato. James Spampanato was born in Neptune, New Jersey, and raised in Bricktown, New Jersey. He graduated from Brick Township High School in 2019. In 2020, James enlisted in the United States Marine Corps, where he served 4 years in the infantry. During his enlistment, he attained the rank of Corporal E4 and served as a squad leader, leading Marines in both training and field operations. His military service helped him develop strong leadership, discipline, and decision-making skills. Following the completion of his service in 2024, James pursued a career in law enforcement. He was hired by the Point Beach Police Department, as a Class 2 officer, and currently attending the Ocean County Police Academy as a member of Class 124. James looks forward to serving his community with honor, professionalism, and dedication. In his free time, he enjoys working out, running, and spending time with his wife, Katrina, and his family. Congratulations.
Can James's family come up?
Picture.
Thank you for your service. Please state your name and repeat after me.
I, James Mapanato,
Do solemnly swear or affirm
do solemnly swear or affirm
that I will support the Constitution
that I will support the Constitution
of the United States
of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
that I will bear true faith
that I will bear true faith
and allegiance to the same
and allegiance to the same
and to the governments established
and to the governments established
in the United States
in the United States
and in this state
and in this state,
under the authority of the people,
under the authority of the people,
and that I will faithfully,
and that I will faithfully,
impartially,
impartially,
and justly perform
and justly perform
all the duties of a police officer
all the duties of a police officer
of the Township of Jackson
of the Township of Jackson,
according to the best of my ability, so help me God.
according to the best of my ability, so help me God.
Congratulations, sir.
Antonio Muhlendyke. Antonio Muhlendyke was born in Lakewood, New Jersey, and raised in Jackson, New Jersey. Antonio graduated from Jackson Liberty High School in 2025, where he was a member of the lacrosse team as a defenseman for 2 years. He was actively involved in Air Force Junior ROTC, serving as the group commander for his unit, demonstrating leadership and dedication. During his high school years, Antonio participated in the Jackson Police Explorers program for approximately 5 years, beginning as a freshman. Taking advantage of an early exit option during his senior year, he began his law enforcement career as a Class 1 Special Law Enforcement Officer with the Seaside Heights Police Department, where he worked the summer season. In September of 2025, Antonio attended the Ocean County Police Academy as part of the Special Law Enforcement Officer Class 2 program. He graduated the basic commingled class number 123 on March 3rd of 2026. Following his graduation, he briefly returned to Seaside Heights before being officially hired by the Jackson Township Police Department. Antonio looks forward to serving the community with dedication, professionalism, and integrity. Congratulations.
Antonio's family, if they want to come up. Please state your name and repeat after me.
Antonio Muhlendyke,
Do solemnly swear or affirm
do solemnly swear or affirm
that I will support the Constitution
that I will support the Constitution
of the United States
of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
that I will bear true faith
that I will bear true faith
and allegiance to the same
and allegiance to the same,
and to the governments established
to the governments established
in the United States
in the United States
and in this state
and in this state,
under the authority of the people,
under the authority of the people,
and that I will faithfully,
and that I will faithfully,
impartially,
impartially,
and justly perform
and justly perform
all the duties of a police officer
all the duties as a police officer
of the Township of Jackson
of the Township of Jackson,
according to the best of my ability, so help me God.
according to the best of my abilities, so help me God.
Congratulations, sir.
Michael Chamora. Michael Chamora was born in Lakewood, New Jersey, and raised in Jackson, New Jersey. He graduated from Jackson Liberty High School in 2019, where he was a member of the football team playing both offensive and defensive line. He was named team captain his senior year. Michael went on to attend Rowan University, where he graduated in 2023 with a bachelor's degree in sports communication and a minor in journalism. While at Rowan, he continued his football career as an offensive lineman. Following his graduation, Michael pursued a career in law enforcement. He was hired by the Seaside Heights Police Department, where he graduated from the Class 1 Academy in April of 2025 and served as a Class 1 officer during the 2025 summer season. He is currently attending the Ocean County Police Academy as a member of the Basic Commingled Recruit Class number 124. Michael has also been actively involved in the Jackson Township, New Jersey community, serving as a high school football coach at Liberty in 2024, and most recently at Jackson Township High School during the 2025 season. Michael's family includes his mother, Brenda, his father, Dan, and his sister, Addison. In his free time, he enjoys working out, spending time with friends and family, and watching and participating in sports. Michael looks forward to serving the community with dedication, honor, and professionalism, and is committed to protecting and serving with integrity and compassion. Congratulations. One more handshake.
Is Michael's family wants to come up? Raise your right hand. Please state your name and repeat after me.
I, Michael Chamora,
Do solemnly swear or affirm
do solemnly swear or affirm
that I will support the Constitution
that I will support the Constitution
of the United States
of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
that I will bear true faith
that I will bear true faith
and allegiance to the same
and allegiance to the same
and to the governments established
and to the governments established
in the United States
in the United States
and in this state
and in this state
under the authority of the people,
under the authority of the people,
and that I will faithfully,
and that I will faithfully,
impartially,
impartially,
and justly perform
and justly perform
all the duties as police officer
all the duties as police officer
of the Township of Jackson
of the Township of Jackson
according to the best of my ability, so help me God.
according to the best of my abilities, so help me God.
Congratulations. Congratulations.
Dylan Rapp. Dylan Rapp is a lifelong resident of Barnegat, New Jersey, graduated from Barnegat High School in 2019. He continued his education at the Ocean County College, where he pursued studies in criminal justice from 2022 to 2024. Dylan is deeply committed to making a positive impact within his community. He places strong emphasis on family, faith, and friendship, values that have played a significant role in shaping his character and guiding his aspirations. Dylan is scheduled to attend the Ocean County Police Academy class number 126, beginning on April 24th. Congratulations.
If Dylan's family wants to come up. There you go, sir. Please state your name and repeat after me.
I, Dylan Rapp,
Do solemnly swear or affirm
do solemnly swear or affirm
that I will support the Constitution
that I will support the Constitution
of the United States
of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and that I will bear true faith
and that I will bear true faith
and allegiance to the same
and allegiance to the same
and to the governments established
and to the governments established
in the United States
in the United States
and in this state
and in this state,
under the authority of the people,
under the authority of the people,
and that I will faithfully,
and that I will faithfully,
impartially,
impartially,
and justly perform
and justly perform
all the duties as police officer
all the duties as police officer
of the Township of Jackson
of the Township of Jackson
according to the best of my ability,
according to the best of my ability,
so help me God.
so help me God.
Congratulations.
Liam Flanagan. Liam Flanagan is from Freehold Township, New Jersey. He graduated from Freehold Township High School in 2023 and is currently attending St. Vincent College, where he is working towards a bachelor's degree in criminal justice. In 2025, Liam began his law enforcement career as a Class 1 Special Law Enforcement Officer with the Avon Police Department. He is currently attending the Ocean County Police Academy as a member of Class number 125. Liam's family includes his mother, Colleen, his father, Robert, and his 3 sisters, Shannon, Sarah, and Caitlin. Congratulations, Liam.
Can Liam's family come up? Please state your name and repeat after me.
I, Liam Flanagan,
Do solemnly swear or affirm
do solemnly swear or affirm
that I will support the Constitution
that I will support the Constitution
of the United States
of the United States
and the Constitution
and the Constitution
of the State of New Jersey,
of the State of New Jersey,
that I will bear true faith
that I will bear true faith
and allegiance to the same
and allegiance to the same
and to the governments established
and to the governments established
in the United States
in the United States
and in this state
and in this state
under the authority of the people,
under the authority of the people,
and that I will faithfully,
and that I will faithfully,
impartially,
impartially,
and justly perform
and justly perform
all the duties as police officer
all the duties of police officer
of the Township of Jackson
of the Township of Jackson
according to the best of my ability, so help me God.
according to the best of my ability, so help me God.
Congratulations, sir.
And finally, Joseph Reynoso. Joseph Reynoso was born in Lakewood, New Jersey, and raised in Manchester, New Jersey, where he attended school from elementary through high school, graduating in 2019. During his high school years, he was an active member of both baseball and basketball teams. Joseph continued his education at the Ocean County College, earning an associate's degree in business in 2021. He later attended Keene University, where he obtained a bachelor's degree in marketing in 2023. In 2024, Joseph began his law enforcement career as a Class 1 booking officer with the Toms River Police Department. He entered the Monmouth County Police Academy in January 6, 2025, and he graduated on May 28, 2025, as a member of class number 108, representing the Deal Police Department. Following the summer, he returned to the Toms River Police Department, where he currently served as a Class 2 officer. Joseph enjoyed watching the New York Yankees, Dallas Cowboys, and spending time with his dog and being with his girlfriend, Ariana. He is the son of Joseph and Charity Reynoso and values the strong support of his family. Officer Reynoso is honored to be a member of the Jackson Police Department. He looks forward to learning from dedicated officers within the department. The milestone represents not only a personal achievement of his, but also a commitment to protecting and serving the community. Congratulations.
Can Joseph's family come up? You mark 120, so that's a milestone. Okay. Oh, come on. Ready? Okay. You're going to please state your name and repeat after me.
Joseph Reynoso,
Do solemnly swear or affirm
do solemnly swear or affirm
that I will support the Constitution
that I will support the Constitution
of the United States
of the United States
and the Constitution
and the Constitution
of the State of New Jersey,
of the State of New Jersey,
that I will bear true faith
and I will bear true faith
and allegiance
and allegiance
to the same
to the same,
and to the governments
to the governments
established in the United States
established in the United States
and in this state
and in this state,
under the authority
under the authority
of the people,
of the people,
and that I will faithfully,
and I will faithfully,
impartially,
impartially,
and justly perform
and justly perform
all the duties as police officer
all the duties as police officer
of the Township of Jackson
of the Township of Jackson
according to the best of my ability, so help me God.
according to the best of my ability, so help me God.
Great job.
All the new officers, if you can join the chief and the mayor in the middle for a photo. All the new officers in the middle. And the council is going to stay back here. Listen to the sergeant. Sorry, my bad, my bad. The retired officer. A special round of applause for our new officers. We wish them well. Be safe, and we're going to take a 90-second break, and then we're going to continue our meeting. So anyone who's here and wants to leave, feel free to leave, and stay safe on the roads and out there.
Business is the second reading.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next item of business is the second reading and public hearing of ordinance 2026-07, authorizing the purchase of certain real property known as Lot 81, Block 2604, AKA 0 Patterson Road, rear, pursuant to NJSA 40A-12-5. At this time, if any member of the public has any comments to make, please address the council at the microphone and state your name and address clearly for the record. You will have 5 minutes to speak and may only speak once. May I have a motion to open public comment?
Motion?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Council?
Seeing no one come forward, I motion to close public forum.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? May I have a motion to adopt ordinance 2026-07?
Motion.
Second?
Councilman Borelli?
Yes.
Councilman Bressi?
Yes.
Councilman Pollock?
Yes.
Council Vice President Palmieri?
Yes.
Council President Bernstein?
Yes.
Thank you. Motion carries. The next item of business is the second reading and public hearing of ordinance 2026-08, amending Chapter 98 of the Township Code with respect to dogs and kennels. At this time, if any member of the public has any comments to make, please address the council at the microphone and state your name and address clearly for the record. You'll have 5 minutes to speak and may only speak once. May I have a motion to open public comment?
Motion.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Amanda Trombetta, Jackson, New Jersey. This proposed ordinance, which classifies households with 5 or more dogs as a kennel, misses the mark completely. Responsible dog owners are not the problem. Families who care for multiple pets in a loving, well-maintained home should not be unfairly labeled or regulated as a commercial, as a commercial operation. This ordinance paints them with a broad brush, imposing unnecessary restrictions on residents who are doing nothing wrong. At the same time, it fails to address the real issue our community is facing: an illegal petting zoo that raises concerns about zoning, sanitation, noise, traffic, and animal welfare. Yet instead of targeting that specific problem with proper enforcement, this ordinance shifts the burden onto everyday residents. Good policy should be focused on the actual problem. Jackson deserves better. We deserve actual solutions.
Council?
Seeing no one come forward, I motion to close.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
No. Sorry, there's just an echo on mine, but no. My mic has an echo. I don't know if all the other ones do. But.
May I have a motion to adopt ordinance 2026-08?
Motion?
Second.
Councilman Borelli?
After further review and consideration, I'm going to vote no on ordinance 2026-08. I don't think we should be telling taxpaying Jackson residents how many dogs they can have. There are issues with property owners with their pets. Code enforcement should be addressing them and applying the existing laws on the books in our town. I advocate for smaller, less intrusive government in the lives of our fellow Jackson residents. Thank you.
Councilman Bressi?
No.
Councilman Pollock?
No, I will not support this ordinance. We know this is about a alleged illegal operation in Jackson, and we kind of seem to do things like this a lot. Introduce ordinances to deal with problems without actually addressing the root of the problem. This feels very backwards. It's a pattern you're just going to keep seeing in this town. Something goes wrong, we don't exactly enforce the existing law, we create new law. Another ordinance, another restriction, another layer of government. And every single time, it's the residents, the law-abiding residents, who end up paying the price, not the people who are breaking the law. We're talking about limiting everyone because we failed to deal with one bad actor. Passing another ordinance doesn't solve the problem. It expands government control while the root issue continues. And this is where you need to draw the line. I believe in enforcing the law, not endlessly expanding it. I believe in accountability, but not blanket restrictions. And I absolutely believe in protecting the liberty of our residents, getting more rules, more code, and more interference in people's lives, all because we refuse to enforce what already exists. So no, I don't support this ordinance. Enforce the law, fix the problems, and give the people their liberty.
Council Vice President Palmieri?
So I did research some of this as well, and I do agree with both of my council colleagues here. I think that this is another Band-Aid similar to the Lehigh Band-Aid that I voted no to last meeting. And I'm going to vote no. I think we need to, as they said, I'm not going to reiterate it. They both said it very eloquently. We need to address this on a bigger issue. So I vote no.
Council President Bernstein?
So I know I'm only one vote at this point, but this ordinance came about through a meeting with code enforcement and animal control. This ordinance was actually really drafted by animal control and code, asking for having the capabilities for them to actually enforce what they felt was necessary to enforce. Code enforcement is doing their best in some of the scenarios that has been brought up, but at the end of the day, there's certain laws and restrictions that they do have. So I symbolically vote yes, because that would support code and give them the resources to do it.
Thank you. The motion does not carry. The next item of business is the second reading and public hearing, ordinance 2026-09, amending and supplementing Chapter 244 of the Township Code of the Township of Jackson entitled Land Use and Development Regulations. At this time, if any member of the public has any comments to make, please address the council at the microphone and state your name and address clearly for the record. You'll have 5 minutes to speak and may only speak once. May I have a motion to open public comment?
Motion?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Council?
Seeing no one come forward, I motion to close public forum.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? May I have a motion to adopt ordinance 2026-09?
Motion?
Second.
Councilman Borelli?
Yes.
Councilman Bressi?
Yes.
Councilman Pollock?
Yes.
Council Vice President Palmieri?
Yes.
Council President Bernstein?
Yes.
Motion carries. The next item of business is the second reading and public hearing of ordinance 2026-13, repealing and replacing Chapter 204 of the Township Code entitled Fire Prevention.
Madam Clerk, before we open the floor to the public, I would ask our fire officials if they can come up for a brief moment and give us a very quick, because it's a very long ordinance, a very quick review of some of the fine points, because this ordinance came from our fire officials, and let them take the credit for it. So the floor is all yours. Whichever one of you are quicker can talk quickly. And then we'll leave you guys here in case there's questions from council after.
Sounds good. Good evening, everybody. My name is Michael Grossman. I'm the Fire District 3 fire official. This is Scott Roush, Fire District 2 fire official. This is Dan O'Brien, Fire District 4 fire official. So we were tasked from the DCA.
If you don't mind, just moving closer to the mic.
Oh, is that better? Yeah. Okay. So we were audited by DCA a lot of years ago, and they said we had to revamp our township ordinance for the fire prevention code, bring it up to date because it was well old and antiquated. So that's Chapter 204. So we did was we worked with the DCA with their verbiage and what they wanted to see in it. For instance, we did a couple changes, like we moved the fire hydrant, it was 100 feet to the fire department connection. We reduced it to 50 feet on new construction when we do our plan reviews. It's actually safer that way. We implemented a click to enter requirement for all unmanned gates at developments. So we can access the gate, fire trucks, ambulance, police cars can access the gates to get into these developments rather than breaking through the gates and sit with the siren that's not working at 2 in the morning and waking everybody up. Food trucks, whatever the DCA was basically saying, coming down the pipes from the Department of Community Affairs, we adopted and put in our ordinance here per their, what do we say? Their encouragement. So, and that's basically the gist of it. It's just brought it up to date, the verbiage and whatnot, and what needs to be.
So thank you. I guess if you could stay close by, and if anyone has questions after, I guess, Madam Clerk, we could open to the public now.
May I have a motion to open public comment?
Motion?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Any motion?
Forward, my motion to close public forum.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? May I have a motion to adopt ordinance 2026-13?
So moved.
Second.
Councilman Borelli?
Yes.
Councilman Bressi?
Yes.
Councilman Pollock?
Yes.
Council Vice President Palmieri?
Yes.
Council President Bernstein?
Yes, and thank you guys for coming, and thank you for giving me the time on the phone to explain what we were doing. So yes, thank you.
Thanks for your service.
Thank you. Stay safe.
The next item of business is the first reading and introduction of ordinance 2026-14, 14, amending Chapter 162G of the Township Code of the Township of Jackson related to the fees for temporary certificate of occupancy. Council President Bernstein, are there any comments on ordinance 2026-14?
Yes, Madam Clerk. This ordinance, if adopted, would reduce the fee charged by the township for the issuance of a temporary certificate of occupancy for multi-unit dwelling from $39 to $30 at the request of the New Jersey Department of Community Affairs, who determined the higher fee was not warranted. So this was DCA recommended. And I just want to thank Mr. Wilton from the Building Department for being on top of this.
May I have a motion to approve ordinance 2026-14 on first reading and introduction and to authorize the notice of the public hearing?
So moved.
Second.
Councilman Borelli?
Yes.
Councilman Bressi?
Yes.
Councilman Pollock?
Yes.
Council Vice President Palmieri?
Yes.
Council President Bernstein?
Yes.
Motion carries. The next item of business is the first reading and introduction of ordinance 2026-15, amending Township Code Section 103-6 entitled Parking Prohibited at All Times and Schedule 1 attached thereto. Council President Bernstein, are there any comments on ordinance 2026-15?
Yes, this ordinance, if adopted, would establish a no parking zone in front of a township piece of property on Brookwood Parkway to permit safe access to the property. And this came about from residents who reached out to our DPW.
May I have a motion to approve ordinance 2026-15 on first reading and introduction and to authorize the notice of the public hearing?
Motion?
Second.
Councilman Borelli?
Yes.
Councilman Bressi?
Yes.
Councilman Pollock?
Yes.
Council Vice President Palmieri?
I want to look more into this, so at this time, I'm going to abstain.
Council President Bernstein?
Yes.
Motion carries. The next item of business is the first reading and introduction of ordinance 2026-16, amending Chapter 103-45, prohibiting parking along a portion of Cedar Swamp Road, CR 527. Council President Bernstein, are there any comments on ordinance 2026-16?
Yes, this ordinance is in response to a request from a resident by the last council meeting regarding the use of the shoulder of Cedar Swamp Road, which is a county roadway by certain truck owners. As it is not a township roadway, the township cannot prohibit parking at this location without approval from Ocean County. This is the first step in the process to obtain that county approval. And just to add to that, so Ms. Hannon brought this up at the last council meeting. Myself and the mayor had a meeting with the county last week. They gave us the initial, I'll call it blessing, to introduce this. And then once it has a second reading, and if it passes, it will go back to the county for final sign-off.
May I have a motion to approve ordinance 2026-16 on first reading and introduction and to authorize the notice of the public hearing?
Motion?
Second.
Councilman Borelli?
Yes.
Councilman Bressi?
Yes.
Councilman Pollock?
Yes.
Council Vice President Palmieri?
Again, I'm just going to abstain, look into this a little further.
Council President Bernstein?
Yes.
Motion carries. The next item of business is the payment of authorization of bills and claims. The following abstentions are from Councilman Borelli: AET01, DEL01, NJD04, NJS04, and TREASURE. Council President Bernstein, are there any questions or comments?
No.
May I have a motion to approve the bills and claims?
Motion?
Second.
Councilman Borelli?
Abstain on those noted, yes to the rest on there. Thank you.
Councilman Borelli?
That Councilman Borelli.
Excuse me, Councilman Bressi. Thank you.
Yes.
Councilman Pollock?
No.
Council Vice President Palmieri?
Yes.
Council President Bernstein?
Yes.
Motion carries. The next item on the agenda is the consent agenda listed for tonight's consideration are resolutions 133 through 144, 2026, listed by title. Council President Bernstein, are there any comments on the consent agenda?
So is there any of the resolutions that anyone want us to take off for council discussion so we can discuss it up here? No, this is not, you can just tell us which one you want us to discuss and we'll explain it. I'm sorry, LLCs? Is that a resolution? Is that a resolution on here? We're up to resolutions. That will be coming up by open all comments. Yes? R138, what number? Temporary appropriations? Yes, Mr. Tarafenko, do you mind just explaining what that is? Temporary appropriations?
It's a budgeting mechanism to pay the bills and claims along with the salaries and wages.
Until the budget. I think really the question that I'm assuming the resident wants to know is where the budget process is holding. I think I had emailed out to council that I got word from administration this week that we are hoping to introduce the budget by the next meeting, which would be the 28th. Is that still the timeframe that we're working towards?
Yes, it is.
Thank you.
Council President, may I?
Mr. Borelli, yeah.
Business Administrator Terafenko. So if we don't approve this, you're saying that the wages, salaries for township employees is in jeopardy until we vote on a full budget for this year?
Right. You can't make any payments or any claims until you have this appropriation voted on and accepted.
Utility, I think part of it includes utility bills and basically the running of the township.
Right.
Yeah. Mr. I see a resident there. Mr. Haiti, anything you want us to take off?
R 143, 2026, just like more information on the treatment works project.
Sure. So, I'm going to ask our attorney, McGuckin, to just explain our 143. That is the TWA. If you don't mind just putting your mic on and explaining what that is.
Sure. There's a commercial project, existing mall, and they are requesting a TWA approval from the DEP. In order for that application to be submitted, they've asked the township to sign a letter of authorizing the execution of that letter by the mayor. That's what this resolution does. The resolution also requires the applicant to comply with all terms and conditions of all approvals and all prior approvals before the township's planning board. So if they need to return to the planning board for any reason, they would still have to do so.
Mr. McGuckin, is the MUA involved in the TWA process?
No.
No. That's the DEP only. Okay. Madam Clerk?
Thank you. May I have a motion to authorize the consent agenda resolutions 133 through 144, 2026?
Motion?
Second?
Councilman Borelli?
Yeah, first regarding Resolution 138-2026, I hope this is hopefully the last temporary appropriations that we have to vote on. I keep on mentioning that, like to see the municipal budget for this year and review it and vote on it, and I hope we can do that soon. And I understand we have to do this to keep the town running and to pay our township employees. So I do vote yes on that also, and yes to the rest, including Resolution 142-2026. I'm sorry to hear what this family is going through, and I'm glad we can help them out in some way. So yes to the rest as well. Thank you.
Councilman Bressi?
Yes.
Councilman Pollock?
R 137, 2026, the landscaping bid. I'm going to vote no. I've heard some questions about the past vendor's contract, but I'm also concerned that we were paying for landscaping services through the Open Space Fund. I don't know if we're going to continue to be paying for landscaping services through our Open Space Fund. I'm voting no on this tonight. R 138, 2026, the temporary appropriations. I'd like to go through some numbers a little bit. We'll go back to 2025. We had our temporary appropriations at $14,990,926.61. Then we had emergency appropriations of $7,759,362.03. A total of $22,750,288.64. Let's fast forward to 2026. We had a temporary appropriations of $14,202,610.54. And now this year, we're going for emergency appropriations of $15,844,500, a total of $30,047,110.54. That's a $7,296,821.90 increase. Now, when you break it down to a percentage, that's 32.1% increase from last year. You get into inflation for the year, they say it's around 3%. I don't know what changed. We've been through, 3 CFOs now. I can't in good conscience vote for a 32% increase in spending. And I'd like to remind everyone, government does not have money of its own. It only has the money it takes from the people. And everything else, yes.
Council Vice President Palmieri?
So yes, I want to just say the R137, the landscaping, I would agree with the councilman. I think we should take a look at where we're paying for this. And if it's coming through open space, I don't think that's the intended use for it. But what I would say for 137 is this bid is $70,000 less than it was last year. So we are saving some money on landscaping. But I do vote yes on the consent agenda.
Council President Bernstein?
So I vote yes, but I also just want to echo what Council Vice President just said. So by the last meeting, I think it was last meeting or maybe 2 meetings ago, we actually turned down the first bids that came in. And I just want to give a credit to Mr. Belinsky and to DPW. I think Ms. Novak also for getting it out there again for another bid and getting a new vendor. Hopefully we'll do a good job. And I think the number was up closer to $80,000, between $70,000 and $80,000 cheaper. So that's great to see. I also want to I'm happy to see the council supporting Resolution 142. That's the township helping a resident in the time of need. And I know the resident really worked with our attorney and with the mayor's office, making sure they had everything in order to protect themselves and protect the township. And residents of Jackson should know that if you ever do need anything, the governing body is here to help you in any way possible. So I vote yes on everything. And yeah, that's it.
Motion carries. At this time, if any member of the public has any comments to make, please address the council at the microphone and state your name and address clearly for the record. You'll have 5 minutes to speak and may only speak once. May I have a motion to open public comment?
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Janice Solero, Jackson, New Jersey. First of all, I'd like to address the busing issue. There's a simple solution. I went to private school back in the 60s. I know I'm dating myself, but my parents paid for my tuition. My kids grew up in Jackson. They went to school. A couple of them went with Miss Kuhn, probably graduated with you. And their friends went to Christian Brothers Academy. Parents were billed for the tuition. Why isn't that done here? Why are the taxpayers paying for busing for private schools? I have no idea. That's one. Two, the LLCs. I read about them every day. I'm on all the Facebook sites. Some people are afraid to come here and speak. I was at one point because with the previous administration, I got asinine mail like this sent to my house, pictures of pierogies. This actually was illegally done. I called NIH and they put a block in the system. They said that this had to be done by somebody of authority. This was under RENA, so this has nothing to do with you. But that's how they work, and they shut you down. Your Facebook is shut down. I'm on 5th account. Welcome to the crowd, because you can't say anything. You can't speak truth. One LLC in particular, Casa y Apartamentos. I'm not even sure if I'm pronouncing it right. I had to call my brother-in-law, who is Spanish here legally, to translate some of what I see every day. One in question, 939 Heights and Road. I called this number and they told me, I asked, why aren't these rentals in English? The gentleman said to me, because Jackson is a Spanish town. That's news to me. I'm here 33 years. I thought we were open to all races, colors, and what have you. So I said, who's telling you this? DCH Management, Dina Court, Lakewood, New Jersey. Call in, you're not gonna get any answer. One woman who posted something yesterday and wrote to me really struck me as I read several complaints about the LLCs. She's called, this is on Savannah Court, Savannah Road, house number 130, 170, 16 Savannah Road, big events, call police, they don't come, septic tank overflowing, hasn't been done in years. The list goes on and on with the complaints, you're hearing them. I would love to see at the next meeting as many code enforcement hired as I did policemen tonight. That would be ideal in this town because we need them. 390 Cabane Court, the petting zoo. This is a new one on me, just heard about this yesterday. But I do remember going to court at one time during assessments back in the day in Toms River, and the judge stating there is a requirement to constitute your property as a farm, a zoo, what have you. I'm not sure if this place meets that requirement. It's 5 acres, certain amount of cows, certain amount of animals, goats, chickens, what have you. You know, you just can't go and open up, if this is true, what people are saying about this petting zoo, that the neighbors are freaking out about the smell, et cetera, et cetera. So I think I covered everything that I wanted to cover this evening. I wanted to at the last one, but we had no power here.
Oh, so thank you for, I just want to address the two things that you just brought up. So I'm going to let Council Vice President discuss the busing for a second, but with regard to the LLCs, I think everyone on here is united that we do not want slumlords in Jackson. We do not want anyone abusing our neighborhoods. I've gotten multiple compliments and feedback from residents that I think since the yearly inspections, I think yearly inspections is something everyone up here agrees to, have started. We are seeing it heading in the right direction. There's a lot more work to do. Like the business administrator said, we had a meeting with Attorney McGuckin and members of the Housing Bureau to discuss what we can possibly even fix within. It's a new concept. Yearly inspections, as you roll out government, there's always going to be areas that you find that you're missing that you could have done better, and we're going to be probably in 2 meetings. Once the Housing Bureau is up and running for a little bit longer, we are going to be hopefully making some tweaks that legally are sound and defensible. So we understand the frustration. We are doing, I believe, a lot more than we've done in the past. We are continuing to try to clean up our neighborhoods, and any feedback and any addresses, I don't want to discuss specific addresses, I would recommend you reach out to the business administrator, and he's in constant contact with Mr. Cheney from Code.
We've told this woman, her name is Deborah, I won't release her last name because she's not here tonight, but to contact Ms. Kuhn and the proper authority. She said
Okay.
she's called. She's like, nobody helps. She's like, it's
So-
absolutely ridiculous. Music playing till
So-
1, 2 in the morning. And
So
I
I-
hear this all throughout the neighborhood.
So ma'am, I would recommend after the meeting, speak to the business administrator and to the mayor. Now, Mr. Council Vice President, do you mind just addressing the busing for a second?
Yeah, sure. And thank you, Ms. Salerno, for addressing this body. The private school tuition is paid for by the private school parents. The tuition the Board of Ed is not paying for. The state passed a law in the 1960s, I think 66 or 67, that mandates the local boards to pay for the private school busing. So what I was stating before is, if the state wants to mandate it, that's fine. They need to then
How come
appropriate.
Christian Brother Academy, the parents pay for it? The
But you-
busing's included in the tuition?
So
Whereas
you
Catholic
could
different.
have submitted, it depends how far it is, it's between 2 and 20 miles, I believe. But
Right.
you could have submitted the Board of Ed as long as you process the proper paperwork to get that paid for. Now, my thing is, if the state wants to mandate, they need to make the proper appropriations to pay those mandates, not leave it to the local school boards. So they need to amend that law if they want to keep that law, because Jackson is an outlier, right? We have more private school students now than public. So it's
I'm
just,
aware.
it's just financially not sustainable. So that's what I was stating before.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Good evening, Jim Seleckia, Jackson. And yes, I am here to talk about my favorite topic. Let's be clear, tonight is the final day permitted under the local finance board's 2026 budget calendar for a municipal budget to be introduced. After tonight, Jackson Township will no longer be in compliance with the state authorized timeline. And yet, despite this being the last permissible night, the budget is still not being introduced. This is especially troubling given the mayor's own public statement on January 27th, 2026, when the administration announced the budget is done. If the budget was completed nearly 3 months ago, then the responsibility for this failure to introduce it rests squarely with the mayor's office. Residents deserve answers. So, Council President, respectfully, I'm going to ask you that you allow the Honorable Mayor to answer the following questions. If the budget was finished in January, why is it still not being introduced on the final night allowed by law, 74 days later? Why has the mayor withheld the document from the public, preventing any meaningful review or discussion? Why has the mayor excluded the Citizens Budget Advisory Committee, a committee the mayor created and pronounced as a transparency tool? And how does refusing to introduce a completed budget, even on the last possible night, align with any stated commitment to openness, accountability, or responsible fiscal management? The local finance board extended the budget calendar this year to give municipalities more time to plan, communicate, and engage residents. Instead, Jackson is ending the process with no introduction, no transparency, no public access to the most important financial document of the year. This is not a timing issue. It is a governance issue, and it begins with the mayor. Residents deserve a clear explanation for why a budget that was declared done in January is still being withheld tonight, even as the legal deadline expires. Now, as members of the Township Council, why should you be concerned? Well, as part of the changes that the Labor Finance Board completed this year, the personal, and I repeat, the personal penalty placed on governing body members that fail or refuse to comply with the local budget law, including non-compliance with a direct order to introduce or adopt a municipal or county budget, is increased to $100 per day from the previous $25 a day. So that's on you guys. The other part is, on February 28th, the mayor is supposed to provide to you guys a recommended budget. So my question to the five of you, by February 28th, did anybody see a recommended budget?
No.
Have you seen a recommended budget since then?
No.
Thank you.
Eleanor Haddam, Jackson, New Jersey. I know that the tax liens were discussed the last time I was here. Then I see that Ms. Kuhn over here put out a statement about the tax liens. I'm very, very curious where we're at with that, because as I was going through tax liens in Jackson Township and the over $200,000 that are owed by some of the developers that have gotten approvals for applications, their properties are in arrears, almost a year, over $220,000. So either pay up with interest or, I'm sorry, start selling them off for the tax sale, because that's the right of these residents, because the residents of Jackson Township should not be footing the school portion of their bill in order for these people that live in Lakewood, by the way. LLC did all the homework to be able to make money. And you can't tell me that these LLCs are not making money on us, because as I have been doing major research, according to the research I have done, and we'll just look at the affordable housing component. So Mr. Pollack discussed the affordable housing, and one of the properties that is owned by Mr. Eichhorn, the Pine Barrens Golf Club. Well, when I looked into that, I saw that his property taxes were increased from $97,900 to $289,000, with an increase of $191,700. Why? But then I looked at some of the other affordable housing lots. Their property taxes were not increased. So this was done intentional. On this property that has a 10-year contract to operate a golf club, to defunct him so that he'd go out of business. Don't think we don't see what's going on. Because what I have seen with, as one of the other residents discussed, the LLCs and these rentals, it is a conglomerate. No, it's more of a syndicate. I have unveiled a complete LLC syndicate that is so interconnected. And unfortunately for some of you, they all donated to your campaigns. So I'm just letting you know, I'm throwing it out there, because these LLCs that are hiring these agencies to only steer towards one group of people, the Spanish-speaking people, and I'll go back to, 2016, when there were advertisements, and I still have it, Spanish-speaking tenants for your non-from rental units for Jackson. It's still happening, and you're allowing it. So I'll just leave it there. And when we come to the 939 Hyson that she discussed, that is not on the landlord registration, and that is owned by a Mr. Heinrich in Lakewood. So another investor that is destroying the quality of life for all the families in this town. It is wrong. And finally, what's going on with 18 Deer Lane? Still haven't heard anything. No emails, no phone calls, nothing. What's going on? Because they're lining the roads. So here's the thing that I kind of noticed. So under the code of Jackson Township, if I were to have a home business, I'm allowed 2 extra cars for my home business. But when I look at Deer Lane and I drove around, and I talked to all the neighbors now, because originally I grew up in that part of town, I counted over 50 cars. And now I'm finding out that some of these residents are being told, oh, just hold on until 88 New Prospect gets their okay, and they go before a land use board. I'm sorry, that is unacceptable. So what are we doing? So now we have discrimination regarding commercial use of a home business and an operation, a legal operation in a residential home that never vacated its residential use, and you're all allowing it. And then the word gets out. Just make sure, don't park everybody on Deer Lane. Park on Neal, park on Fox, park on Quail. Oh, and then use the back parking lot of 88 New Prospect. So what are we doing about it? Because also, when you talk about the egress and the fire code, there are hundreds of people in this house. Oh, wait.
Thank you. You can stay after meeting and discuss it.
I would like it on the record, the answer be made.
So you put your question in the record, and the mayor does not have to answer you on the
No,
record.
I'm asking Mr. Tarafanko. Isn't he in charge of code enforcement in all the departments?
Mr. Tarafanko, you'll get back to Ms. Hannum after the meeting?
What I can tell you is Mr. Pullman did send a recommendation letter to our zoning officer who is following up on 18 Deer. Obviously, Ms. Hanneman, we understand and your plight along with the other residents, and we're trying to address it in a legally formed fashion. And that's what we're waiting, Mr. Pullman's final recommendations to take effect. And the zoning officer is well aware of that, and she is actively pursuing this matter.
She never responded either, and I know government runs slow. 2 years. 2 years. This is a major civil rights violation against the people who live there. This is discrimination. You're making decisions who has to abide by Jackson's laws and who doesn't.
Elliot Shemtov, Jackson. I will tell you, it sounds like the issue we have here in this town is transparency. It's been the mantra, hasn't it? Transparency with the budget. I mean, it's harrowing enough that the budget's late, but the fact that you have council members that haven't even had a chance to review it, that's my money. That's my tax money. And I'd like to know why we have this lack of transparency in more than just budget. This goes way, way deeper. Tonight, I want to talk to you a little bit about our business administrator, Charles Tarafanko, who's also serving a dual role as public safety director. To me, that raises serious concerns about fiscal responsibility, past failures, and the will of the taxpayers. Remember those people that pay your salaries. Jackson has a documented history of problems with the public safety director position. The last appointee contributed to a $2 million lawsuit settlement with the former police chief. We can't afford to repeat these costly issues and mistakes. I mean, I think the last time I came up here and I was addressing you, we talked about 5 or 6 lawsuits. Where are we at now? And I think Council McGuckin kind of smirked when I said that. And
No, I didn't, sir. No, I didn't.
And I think we're at what, 7 or 8 or 9 now, Council McGuckin?
The township gets sued in numerous instances.
It's okay. Previous
He's not
business
here.
administrators were paid approximately $225,000. Mr. Tarafanko's contract, however, was written for $300,000 plus a $55,000 Chevy Tahoe with free gas. Clearly a premeditated decision that pays Mr. Tarafanko considerably more money than any BA has ever received in our town. Residents are already struggling with taxes, rising costs. This package is a 5-year package from what I gather. Quite frankly, it sends the wrong message about how our tax dollars are being spent. And Mr. Tarafanko, this is not a direct personal attack on you. This is basically me being transparent about how the taxpayers in this town feels, quite frankly, about this administration and this appointed mayor to my left. This is not what the people of Jackson want. We want prudent, transparent leadership that learns from past lawsuits and puts fiscal restraint and public trust first, not higher salaries, luxury vehicles, and expanded roles that have already proven expensive and divisive. This is a problem. There is zero transparency in this government, and in some cases within our government, many important decisions within our government are not discussed with every council member, and I also find that to be a major problem. When the elected officials in high positions of power do not communicate with other elected officials inside the government, what are we, the people, supposed to expect? If you don't have transparency in government, then there are other names that you call that government that I will not use. I respectfully urge the council to prioritize taxpayer dollars and ensure future decisions reflect the values and priorities of the residents who pay the bills. Now, the next thing I want to address, since I have about 1:20, this is personal. About 2 weeks ago, I had dinner with a resident, a taxpayer, a voter. And as most of you know, I'm running for mayor of this town, which I have the right to do, meaning meet with residents and have dinner with them. And I heard that Council President Bernstein posted on social media that I had dinner with someone who supports Hamas and terrorism that is responsible for the death of thousands. Do you admit or deny that allegation, Council President Bernstein?
So it's not a question and answer, but I deny that allegation, but I'll respond to you in a second.
Did you say you deny the allegation?
I deny that allegation. That's not what I wrote on social media.
So that's fine. What I'd like to do is now put up here to show you. This is a post from Council President Bernstein.
Can you read it?
I'm going to read it.
Sure.
Someone who would sell out the safety of his or own family for a few votes, shame on them. Would you go out to eat with someone who supports the biggest sponsor of terrorism and is responsible for the deaths of thousands of Americans? I know what you meant by that, but that could also be misconstrued that that person who I had dinner with, who's a Palestinian woman, a very nice woman and a taxpayer, that she's responsible for the death of thousands of Americans. This is social media. This is on text. You're responsible. Your name's on it. Why would you write this? As council president of this government, why would you write that?
So your time is up, and I'm going to respond.
Sure.
Because there are a lot of accusations. So first of all, with
It's not an accusation. This is here in written
Mr.
proof.
Shemtov, your time is up. I'm going to respond now.
Sure, please do.
So first of all, with regard to the budget, you obviously don't know this form of government too well.
Really?
Yes, because, and this is not a question and answer, I'm just going to respond. The form of government is that the mayor puts together a budget, gives it to the council to introduce, and then they spend the time, they have a period of time, generally 2 weeks between meetings, to go through it. And I have been updating our council that the mayor is hoping to introduce it by the next meeting. So that's with regard to the budget. With regard to, I just want to make sure I remember all. With regard to your question about what I posted on social media, any person who is going to say that Ayatollah Khomeini is a hero and post videos of American jets exploding, I would never go out to eat with such a person. I don't care how many freaking votes that person would give me. I think there has to be red lines in politics, and I'm happy to say that there are certain red lines that I would never cross. To go ahead and praise Ayatollah Khomeini, who has thousands, forget Israelis, thousands of Americans dead on his hands, that's not something I would ever stand for, and I apologize if you disagree with that. That's all my response.
I disagree with the fact that you're a council president of a town. And the fact of the matter is,
Not a question debate. I'm going to
everybody has a
respond.
First Amendment right to say what they think.
And I'm
I
not,
don't have to.
Mr.
I don't have to
Shemtov,
agree with it.
Mr. Shemtov, you have a First Amendment right. You have a right to run for mayor, and lots of luck. But I also have the right to oppose going out to dinner with anyone who would go ahead and praise Ayatollah Khomeini. I am sorry.
Okay, but this is your constituent. This is your resident.
And
she is still a taxpayer.
And I
She is
didn't-
still a resident here. Granted, I
Thank
do
you.
not
Your
believe
time
with
is
a
up.
lot of the things that she believes in, but I do believe in the fact that she has the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness in this town.
And no one-
I got to tell you something,
And
Mr.
no one here,
Bernstein,
and no one here disagrees with
you
that.
should read the Constitution a little bit more, because these are the people that you were sworn in to serve.
I serve every single resident.
you?
Yes.
Do you serve every single
Yes.
resident?
Yes.
Or are we talking about some residents?
All residents, even
Really?
residents who I disagree who are playing politics. Thank you. Have a good night.
Thank you.
I gotta say, the budget's late and the council hasn't seen it. So telling people don't understand this foreign government, we're late and the council hasn't looked at it. I'm very afraid that, well, this is a pattern in all government. You're gonna push something through the last minute, and then you're gonna give very little time for people to read it, review it, and vote on it. The people are sick of government like this. Get it done early. Mr. Salicki is pretty spot on the money. If you say something's done, why haven't we seen it? I don't want to wait last minute to review this. I'm probably, what's going to happen is next meeting, we're going to get it, a couple days before, and then I'll probably have to take a day off work to sit and go through everything and read everything and bring up my objections, and then we're going to fight on it. You guys bank on that. Everybody's just going to say yes. This is the way this government's work. This is the way a lot of government works. Give you a 100-page document, a 200-page document, and, oh, you got a couple days to look at it. Why did we set up a committee? What are we doing? And then why are we bringing up, why are we calling residents terrorists? Why are you inferring to somebody as a terrorist too? This is Jackson, New Jersey.
Thank you.
Can I add something for the
Yeah.
thing?
Council Vice President.
Just, if I can, just play devil's advocate with the BA's salary. I know you had mentioned it. How I looked at it, and again, maybe you don't agree, it's fine. It's all relative in terms of salary, because this BA is making about $300,000 a year. The previous one was about $220,000. However, Mr. Tarafanko is not taking any insurance. We were paying about $55,000 for the other BA's insurance a year. And then Mr. Tarafanko, we're not matching his pension. So that's in the contract. That was about $30,000 a year for the previous BA. And then also the previous BA got a car stipend. It was like $400 or $500 a month. He's taking no car stipend. So whenever Mr. Tarafanko leaves, if he retires, we keep the car. So the car is ours. We're not essentially paying for him to have a new car. So that's just devil's advocate. You don't have to agree with it, but that's how I rectified the salary difference.
Why are we paying a third party for the budget if we're paying $300,000 a year for a business administrator? That's something that I'm wondering.
Next. Please order, resident.
I kind of hate to cut in what he's saying next.
Order, middle of the meeting. Next resident.
Okay, hi, my name's Mitch. I've lived in Jackson a long time. It took me 50 years to get here, but I made it to a meeting. This is the first one I think I've come to. What I've heard here is a lot of quality of life stuff that's a distraction. I've heard a lot of hurt people who've probably been hurt by other people.
If you don't mind just speaking to the mic, then can
Oh,
hear
I'm
it.
sorry. I see hurt people who've been hurt by other people and kind of are becoming prejudiced because we're being steered that way by being divided. New Jersey is run by all politics is local and pay to play. What all politics is local is the federal government, they distribute money. So a federal representative, like let's say, I don't know, a senator gets money and then he goes to a state senator and he says, you go around and you get me elected and I'll give you money from the federal government. And then we can split the money. We can skim off the top of that. That's paid. That's all politics is local. And that's all over this country. It's going on. It's Democrat and Republican. And to get something done, like people are going to say, oh, some of you, you're all like, you're taking money and you're skimming money. You're doing bad things. Basically, you're not going to be able to get anything done if you don't steal, because you have to kick your money back up to the guy upstairs. That's the way it works. And pay to play is legal in New Jersey too. You know what pay to play is? Let's say you want to mow my lawn, right? So I'm going to say, this gentleman over here, I'm going to give him $1,000 and he's going to find somebody who will mow my lawn for minimum wage. I've worked for the federal government, the state government, 2 county governments. They're all corrupt to the top. You guys are little fish. I mean, if you steal, I don't even care, because you're probably doing it just to try and get something done. And about the quality of life and dividing to conquer us, that's what it is. I mean, big secret, there's a lot of Jewish people that are moving in. I love my Jewish neighbors. I'm really sick. I'm dying. They shoveled my walk for me. That was nice. I went out and bought him a shofar. I figured that was something for a strong man. That's the thing you blow on New Year's, the noise they make. That's what they're doing.
If you don't mind, into the mic, so it can be recorded.
Oh,
yeah.
The shofar that she was talking about, the house where she's saying they're starting a synagogue. They're getting a minion. They have to get 10 people to be able to hold services. That's how Jews do it. And they blew the shofar there. And I guess there's a rabbi that lives there. But I don't understand why anyone would even complain about that. I'm sorry, ma'am. I don't mean to be
Into the mic again, sorry.
But you're hurt. But I went there when they did it.
Please address the council. Please.
I went there when they blew the horn and I didn't go in the backyard. But it's all BS. It's all politicians dividing us so they can steal our money. And you're supposed to be smart. Maybe you could all get together, Republicans and Democrats, and figure out a way to actually serve the people. Because I've lived here over 50 years, and to be the God's honest truth, you've never done anything to help me this town. It's only done things to hurt me. You really got to get your crap together, and you got to try and figure out a way to try and bring this community together, because that's really what it is. It's a bunch of land that they put together out of other communities that were around us, and they named it after Andrew Jackson, probably the stupidest president we've ever had. I'm not going to say the most corrupt. Just try and do better. Help people.
Thank you.
Selena Tevis, Jackson, New Jersey. I want to first introduce Joanna Reyes and Lysandra Reyes. This is Mortimer Wortman's mother. This is Mortimer Wortman's aunt. I want you all to look at her, look at them as I speak on behalf of them. Dear members of Jackson Council, I'm writing to you not only as a member of this community, but as someone who is outraged and deeply disappointed by the lack of accountability and urgency shown by our local leadership in case of missing 22-year-old resident Mortimer Wortman. This is not just another issue before the council. This is a young man from our town who has been missing for months. His family is living a nightmare that no one should ever have to endure. While the community continues to fight largely on its own to raise awareness and increase the reward in hopes of bringing him home, let me be clear. Promises were made publicly by both Mayor Jennifer Kuhn and Councilman Chris Pollock to each contribute $1,000 towards the reward. Councilman Pollock, you followed through. Thank you. The family thanks you. At this time, leadership matters most. This failure to honor a public commitment is unacceptable. This is not simply about $1,000. It's about the integrity, the credibility, whether the people elected to lead this township are willing to stand by their word when it truly matters. You can smirk all you want as I speak, but you are, and that's not funny. Other communities across the country have shown what leadership looked like in moments like this. In the case of Gabby Petito, in Kylie Rodney, Elizabeth Smart case, these communities did not hesitate. Their leaders did not make empty promises, they acted. Jackson should be no different. Instead, we are seeing a community carrying the weight while leadership falls short. Fundraisers are being organized, donations are being sought, and awareness is being pushed, not because of strong municipal leadership, but in spite of its absence. This is a defining moment for Jackson Township. We deserve leadership that is present, accountable, and willing to act, not leadership that makes public commitments and fails to follow through. The family of Mortimer Wortman deserves better. This community deserves better. I'm calling on Jackson Council to address this failure directly and ensure that all publicly made communications are honored immediately. Take a far more active and visible role in supporting efforts to find Mortimer. Silence and inaction are not acceptable, not in this situation, not in this community. Do better. Our town is watching. And I know, let me say something. Nick Macchio has been to every meeting here. Nick Macchio can go on and post whatever he wants, but that is not on behalf of the family, and it's been made very clear to the council and to the police department that Nick Macchio does not speak on behalf of the family. He comes in concerned as a best friend, but when it comes to not handing a reward over that was promised to this family in desperate need is beyond unacceptable. This town, you should all be ashamed of what we have. Like, this is ridiculous. Pollock, we cannot thank you enough. We need more awareness. There should be, today, right before we walked in here, you know, she rushed us over to the big screen to show us that Morty was up there. 144 days since he's been missing. And that's how long it took for you guys to put him on a big screen? What if this was your child? 144 days, not knowing where he is. We understand that there's an investigation. We're very smart. We understand that we cannot compromise the investigation. But as a community, we could definitely do more. $1,000 came from Chris Pollock. I have helped her fundraise. You guys have done nothing. I sent you an email on Instagram or Facebook saying, hey, why don't we organize a 5K in Jackson since that's where he went missing? Guess what? Crickets, nothing. But we're about community? No. This is very important
I'm
in our
sorry.
community.
I've spoken to you multiple
I have 21
times.
seconds. Thank you very much. So as a community, I'm asking what you guys plan on doing further to raise awareness. We need postcards going out. We need flyers. We need meetings. Let's keep his face out there. We should not be doing that. As a community in this township, we should be doing it together. Let's come together as a town and a community and raise more awareness on behalf of this family.
Council President,
Thank you.
can I defend myself because I'm actually
Yes,
I'm
Mayor.
a little I'm flabbergasted because I was the only one that was boots on the ground in this room, and I've met you. I've spoken to you multiple times, and I was advised, and I spoke to Councilman Pollock regarding the $1,000 when he had told me that he gave the $1,000 over. I had asked the attorneys because everything I do gets twisted and turned. And if I gave you $1,000 when we had said it was for the finding of Mortimer, I followed my attorney's rules and regulations. It's not about, I'll give you what, you told me that you had a third party and was going to a third party account. I have it in writing. You, ma'am, you can't, I
None of
can't.
that
I have to
matters.
stick up
You
for,
come-
ma'am, please.
Chris,
I have to stick up for
how did
myself
you
because
pay
you're
for the
making me look like a
$1,000?
horrible person.
Mayor,
And you know, I am not that person.
Mayor, I just want to,
pay that out of
stop.
your
I'm
for a second.
sorry.
We're middle of a meeting.
Thank you.
This is
You could come
above
out of
and
your
beyond.
pocket with all the money you're making in this town to pay the reward. You don't need your attorneys. Out of the
Ma'am.
decency of this town, you could have handed the $1,000 just like Chris did. Thank you very much.
So, ma'am, Mayor, I want to respond for a second. Mayor, I just want to respond for a second. First of all, I don't think anyone up here fully understands what the family is going through, and we completely do stand with the family, and we are constantly open to more ideas and more and anything else that we could do to bring in awareness. I do remember when the mayor did call me, and she mentioned that Mr. Pollack had given the $1,000, and she did reach out to the attorneys. And being as an elected official, you have to be very careful when you give money over. And she was told that she was given over as a reward. So I'm going to defend the mayor. It was a reward that she initially gave. And
Listen, we just talked about salaries. Each of you could afford to take $500 out of your pocket and you wouldn't miss a beat. So let's stop talking about attorneys and the proper channels. If you gave a crap about our community and a resident, you would have came out of pocket and did what you had to do to help find this kid. Chris, thank you. I hope you make it big because this town needs more of you and not these people.
thank you.
Woo, yeah!
Next.
Tom Smith from 520 Whitesville Road.
Can you say it again?
You hear me okay?
Now I hear you.
Okay, thanks. I've been a resident there 36 years, and it's PM1 zone, but it's primarily residential. And I looked very carefully when I bought my first house at what is allowed in the PM1 zone, decided based on the property we had, the wetlands buffers around it, it was a safe residence to purchase. I've been there 36 years, all right? The adjacent property was historically also residential with a horse stable. A paving company bought that. And without any approvals, they came in, they cleared the land, they brought in their paving company, they built a 70-foot commercial building on a paving company zoning permit that said residential personal use detached garage. So without any zoning approval, that happened. When we complained about it, zoning did a pretty thorough investigation, took a lot of testimony, decided a use variance was required, and it was denied. So that paving company wasn't able to use that site. They had to move out. Now that property, again, at 510 Whitesville Road, next to us, has been sold to an LLC, 510 Whitesville LLC, who also testified that he owns Atlantic Site Construction, a big excavation company. It also lists on their website that they're a paving company. They were just in front of the planning board. They said that they had zoning approval. The zoning approval, there is no certificate. I spoke to Jeff Papuro. It did not go in front of the zoning board because their application to the planning board for this excavation company is for an office and for a warehouse, which are approved uses in the PM1. Because there's been these type of applications before on this property, less than honest, I took 10 minutes to go online and look up Atlantic Site Construction. Okay? I took the aerial photographs of where they have been in Lakewood, where they got chased off of a residential property for violations for putting all of their construction equipment, a fleet of dump trucks, excavators, on a residential lot. They got chased off of that lot by violations. Then they're over on Cross Street, about a mile from where we are. So I took an aerial of that, publicly available information. I've shared that with whoever's email address I had here. I shared it with the planning board. The applicant testified in front of the planning board, yes, that's our current operation. Fleet of dump trucks, the site is horrendous. But that's not on their planning application, and I brought that up. So I did the planning board's homework, and yet none of the professionals, none of the board asked any questions about this big discrepancy between what the operation is and what's on the application. what their actual use, what their actual company is, absolutely would need a use variance to be on that lot. It could be a stopped. There's a previous denial of a use variance for an identical company. You look at the aerial photographs, they're almost identical. You couldn't tell which company is which, except that Atlantic Site Construction's a lot larger with a lot more equipment. And the photos I shared are from their website with their logo on these monstrous trucks with 40-foot lowboy trailers. But there's nothing in their traffic plan and nothing in their site plan that showed any of that. And yet the board, with no questions and no deliberations the other night, approved their planning. And there's not even a zoning approval for this. After the original paving company was denied a use variance, after a lot of testimony was taken, they did it, there's pages in the record of it, all the questions that the zoning board asked when they denied that. We made a substantial investment in our residential property, knowing that the zoning board was looking out for us and that things that weren't approved and would not get a use variance that would impact the residential properties. We're a residential adjacent property. Across the street is residential. On the north side is residential. So this property that the planning board approved is now going to be loaded up by, as that aerial photograph shows, surrounded by 3 residential properties. They're not going to be able to meet the performance standards. They can't comply. It's 244-160, the performance standards. C, C3, E4, and I'd suggest you take a look at, because there is no way that they'll meet those performance standards.
So Mr. McGuckin, if I could just ask you, I don't know the process that the resident is, I guess, complaining about an approval that was given by the planning board that he feels they didn't do their due diligence.
Absolutely not.
What is the proper recourse if that's what the resident feels?
So if the planning board determined it was a permitted use and the applicant provided evidence that the use they're proposing is what's permitted in the zone, and the planning board approved it, then the applicant is permitted to use the use that was asked for before the board, not something different.
Correct.
So if they received approval for a warehouse without outside storage or anything like that, and that's what the zone permits, then that's what they're allowed to do. If they do something beyond that, they would be in violation of that approval. And I understand what you're saying. This use may have been somewhat done a different way in another location. They would not be permitted to do that where they got this approval that you're talking about in the PM1 zone. So they would not be permitted in that zone under that approval to operate as they may operate somewhere else. They're not allowed to do that under any approval. But once the planning board makes the decision, we as a council can't overturn it, nor can the township. Anyone who wants to challenge what the board did would have to pursue that in Superior Court. And there's a process for that. It's 45 days from publication of the resolution of approval. The complaint has to be filed within that time frame. But just to be clear, they're not permitted to do what you're suggesting was done in another town or in another location at this location. They're not. They would only be permitted to do what was approved under the PM1 zone and under permitted use. And what you described to me is not in another town or another location. That's not what they asked for, and that's not what they got approved for. And if they tried to do that, they would be in violation of their site plan approval.
Okay, correct. I understand my time is up, but the previous company did that.
If you want, you wait around after the meeting and you can catch Mr. McGuckin.
Okay.
We just want to give everyone a chance.
Right.
Thank you.
Hi, Lou Reel, Jackson, New Jersey. I have a brief statement I'd like to read, and then I have 3 questions, which I'm hoping I can get an answer to tonight. I think that after I read the statement, I might not be too popular after hearing all the comments before me. My home is located in Four Seasons, Matitaconk Lakes, 55-plus community. Our community has about 1,500 senior citizens. The main gate of our community is located on Harmony Road, about a half mile from the intersection of Harmony Road and Jackson Mills Road. Most of our residents living in FSML must pass through that intersection as it's on the main path to Route 9 major shopping and medical locations, as well as Freehold. As seniors, I'll admit, some of our driving habits and skills may not be as sharp as they once were. When we want to turn left from either direction off of Harmony Road onto Jackson Mills Road, we're often intimidated by oncoming traffic. For several years, we've asked to have a left turn signal installed at that intersection, but have been told that it's an Ocean County controlled intersection and that nothing can be done. Shortly after Mayor Kuhn's appointment, we approached her with our request, and within a very short time, the change was approved. The signal was installed. We would like to thank Mayor Kuhn for making the road safer for 1,500 senior citizens. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
That's the good part. Now the three questions that I have.
Uh-oh.
I was going to start this first question with the word if, and I think it's better to start with when. When the township is sued, how is the decision to settle or litigate made, and who makes that decision? That's the first question. The second question is, if the decision is to settle, who negotiates the settlement? Is it somebody who has a dog in the fight? Is it somebody who lives in Jackson? And the last question is, once a settlement is agreed upon, who approves it, and does the entire council vote on its approval?
So I'm going to answer to the best of my ability, and I'm not our attorney if I miss anything. So if we get sued, or when we get sued,
When you get sued.
when we get sued, any settlement, council would have to approve of any settlement.
Almost.
1 second. You know, Mr. McGuckin, do you mind answering? Because
Any settlement where the township has to pay funds as part of the settlement, council would have to approve that settlement.
Who does the negotiating?
Depends on the type of case, but normally it's the insurance carrier attorney for the township.
So that's
when we
somebody
get-
who has no dog in the fight. He doesn't live here.
usually not.
Usually not. The township's insurance policy dictates that they get to pick who the attorney is that represents the township, just like your homeowner's insurance dictates who they would retain to represent you. So if it's an insurance case where the insurance company is involved, then that attorney is selected by the insurance company. That attorney and the insurance company negotiate the matter. And if the township is asked to contribute to any settlement, they then provide a settlement number to us and say, we can resettle this matter. Your coverage is this amount, and you have to contribute this amount in order to settle the case. And the council can decide if they want to settle the case or not settle the case. If they choose not to settle the case, the insurance company pays to the township the amount of money they're authorized or permitted to pay under their policy, and then the township continues litigation at their cost and expense. I know that's a rather confusing matter,
No,
but there's other lawsuits that are not covered by insurance, and in those cases, the township's attorney would handle those defense of those matters. Depending on the type of case, whether it's an insurance case or not, is how it's done. And in the end, the attorney who represents the township in the matter negotiates those matters with consent from the administration and/or council if the township has to pay any money.
And I just want to add for a second is generally, Mr. McGuckin, administration are the ones who, because I mean, you work, a lawyer's work for the mayor and administration. They would be the ones who usually be the ones who are the, I'll call it the face of the negotiations if there's a settlement talk.
Yes, correct.
And then they present it to the governing body, and that's what we have executive session, hopefully to accomplish.
I at a much lower scale, I understand how this works, as Councilman Borelli knows, as he lives in our community. I'm the vice president of the board of our community, and we get sued as well as you do. And when we get sued, sometimes the insurance company comes to us and say, oh, come on, it's $2,000, settle. And when we review the video, we say, no, we don't want to settle. We absolutely do not want to settle. We don't want to pay the $2,000, and that's pocket change, I understand. But there are some times that the people who, I went over the 5 minutes.
Another 10 seconds.
Sorry, okay. So who makes the decision? So you're saying the insurance company makes the decision whether to
They make a
settle,
recommendation. I mean, the governing body could decide not to use the insurance and pay out of their own pocket, but,
and they do the negotiation, not the people who live in the town.
well, we have to agree.
My whole point
Yeah.
is that my tax dollars go to provide police, and I'm great to see that, and roads and everything. I get something back for my tax dollars. When I pay $2 million in a settlement, I get nothing back for that. And that's the problem. And we've got millions of dollars over the last couple of years where we've gotten nothing back. So I think it's important that the township, who have something a stake in the game, be really involved in settling these things.
Thank you.
And sometimes say no to the insurance companies.
Thank you.
My name is Adam Heidi. I'm a resident of town. I am on the Environmental Commission, but I'm just speaking as a resident. Could you please restart my time? I do have a comment for Mr. Palmieri, but I'll save that for when he returns. I just want to speak about Ordinance 24445. This is primarily directed at Mr. Bernstein,
Sure.
Councilman McGuckin, and Mayor Kuhn. This is an ordinance.
A second, Adam, I'm just gonna stop you. That's the one we I just want to make sure it's the one we
Correct.
discussed? Okay. I got it.
Correct. This is a land use ordinance where properties that fall within the conservation overlay zone are mandated to have an LOI in hand issued from the DEP as a prerequisite to completeness. The reason I bring this up is there are various applications at our land use boards where this prerequisite is not being met. Specifically, this resident, Tom Smith, is speaking about 510 Whitesville Road. That property fell within the conservation overlay zone. Therefore, that applicant would have needed an LOI in hand before that application was accepted into our jurisdiction. So I'm quite concerned of the number of procedural defects that are happening at our land use boards. Furthermore, I think a point Tom made that wasn't answered is what do we do with our boards who don't enforce our township ordinances? The mayor and maybe the mayor, you have the authority to remove people from the planning boards and the zoning boards if they do not do their duties.
Mr. McGuckin, can you address
Not
that?
quite.
Am I incorrect?
Yeah, not
Please.
quite. They are appointed for a term, and they are allowed to serve in that capacity during their term of office unless they commit a crime, fraud, and so forth.
Fair.
Or they don't appear.
It's
for
Mill
their-
Adams
Or
time.
they don't do their job and don't appear for their meetings.
Understood. And are there terms for our board professionals, Remington and Vernick Engineering? Is that a term or?
Those are usually one-year contracts, and the board makes a decision as to who to retain each year.
Right, so various applications underneath our board professionals, Remington and Vernick, prove that our ordinances are not being enforced and we still continue to renew contracts for these board professionals? Does that seem appropriate?
I don't know enough about the issue that you're raising, but the board would be the ones who retain the professional, and the board is the one who makes the determination as to the ordinance application.
There seems to be a misunderstanding of this conservation zone overlay. This is an added layer of protection. This is an added layer of protection. It's a prerequisite to completion. Our township is currently facing 2 active lawsuits at the Superior Court where this ordinance is the root of that lawsuit. And I pray Tom finds the money. I will fund the $250 for him to file the lawsuit as a resident to take up litigation of that ordinance.
I would glad to take a look at it. I believe the issue may be that this is in the Pinelands. Is that correct?
Yes.
This is in the Pinelands, but there's nowhere, is there anywhere in the language of 24445 that alleviates an NJDEP LOI?
Well,
if
the
within
question
Pinelands?
is, who has jurisdiction? Is it Pinelands or DEP? The township cannot, by ordinance, delegate or differentiate between the state agency that has
Correct.
jurisdiction.
Is-
And as I understand it, that was the question that was raised before the board, and we can't second guess them on that interpretation, but we will take a look at the ordinance
Attorney
and see if
McGuckin.
there's something that could be
All
amended.
properties that fall within the Pinelands are under the Pinelands jurisdiction, correct?
That is correct.
Does that exempt an application from local ordinances?
It does if the Pinelands is the one, it's not the
Pinelands-
ordinance, it's the state regulation of the LOI. It's not the
Right.
ordinance, it's whether
Right.
an LOI is the requirement versus what Pinelands requires.
Correct. Our ordinance explicitly states we want an LOI from the NJDEP.
I understand
It
what
does
it
not.
said.
It does not
I'm aware
provide
that-
for the substitution. The language is clear. It's not
I'm aware that
confusing.
that's what
This
it
is an,
said.
excuse me, sir. This is an added layer of protection. And as an attorney, the language is clear. You know the language is clear. So please protect our residents from litigation. That's the third violation of 24445 subsection C.
I'm going to take a look.
Please take a look.
Sure.
My last comment is for Councilman Palmieri. I really like to stay in my lane environmentally, but I heard you justify the business administrator's salary due to the fact that he's not getting health coverage. And I think that's insulting to the median $60,000 income of every resident in town who still finds a way to find health coverage. If you're making $300,000, sir, God bless you, you can find health coverage. The same way any resident who makes $55,000 before taxes is able to find health coverage.
Adam,
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you.
Fred Morrow Jackson. I've been up here a couple of times and I've really been doing some searching and stuff like that. And when looking at the website to come to this meeting, I thought I was going to download the agenda to the meeting, and what I downloaded instead was a list of vendors and bills and by vendor name. Yeah, it's there. It's on the website.
I'm pulling it up now. Yeah.
And that's how it's listed, is by vendor, from top to bottom. But it doesn't tell you what department is spending that money. Or if you look in between, you might be able to figure it out. And it's quite a few pages. It's probably like 5 or 6 pages. You voted on it tonight, probably, under your bills and claims. I'm just wondering if there's a way to divide that up, even by keeping your vendors in alphabetical order, because that's nice, okay, but by department. So we could see actually what department is spending money, because on page 1, recreation might have spent money, and on page 5, they might have spent money, but how could you put the two together to find out what they're actually spending? It's very, very confusing.
I just want to make sure I'm understanding, because I go through, Ms. Martin, Clerk Martin, aren't the bills divided by departments generally, and doesn't go all clerk's office, but it goes a couple from the clerk's office if they're together, and then it goes to the other vendors? It depends what it's for, right? Are you asking for it to be alphabetical?
Let's put it this way,
Yeah.
Cablevision bill alone,
Sure.
okay? There's more than one department that uses Cablevision.
Okay.
It's all lumped into one big,
Each
for each line item, for
Yeah.
each department, but under Cablevision.
It doesn't say the name of the department that requested it?
Sometimes it does,
Oh.
sometimes it doesn't.
So you,
I
well,
mean,
you're,
you know-
I just want to make sure I understand the question. You're asking if we could divide it up to say clerk's office, mayor's office, tax office.
DPW, whatever, and then you can keep it alphabetically by vendor. It doesn't make a difference.
I'm going to ask the
Okay?
BA to speak to finance about that.
I mean,
Yeah.
and when you get to page 5 and you find coffee and donuts, you wonder
Which department?
who's spending, I wasn't invited to the party, you know. $20,000, I didn't see that. I'll have to look again.
Okay,
Because
continue. We're
I
middle.
actually downloaded it by mistake, thinking I was downloading this. And I started looking and I started, questions came up in my mind, like I saw car dealerships. Now I'm thinking that might be for the police department, it might be for somebody else who might have township vehicles, I don't know, but and there's all kinds of money going out to, I thought we had mechanics that used to work on township vehicles. And I'm looking and seeing, is this just parts? Are we spending, $5,000, $6,000 a month
Sure.
on parts? Don't know. And
Right.
who's spending it? Like I said, now
I'll speak to
diesel
finance. Yeah.
exhaust fluid, I figured DPW, because they probably run the most diesels out of anybody in the town. But, it's very confusing when you're trying to follow how much money is being spent where. All right, and if there's any, expenses that really don't need be. I don't ask for people's personal salaries, that's, but if you have to vote on them, then it should be under clerk's office or
So
tax collector or,
So I see the way that it's presented to us. I do sit with the clerk usually the day of the meeting or the day before. Some of the council members have joined me going through each item, so I understand it before I vote. But I'm going to ask the mayor and the business administrator if there's more information that we can put on the bills and claims. I guess that's a question for finance, how they just classify it. I don't know the system they use. Mayor, do you have any information on that?
It's classified. If I had one, I would look at it and kind of go, it goes by code. I remember when I would look at all of them and go through, because there was a lot of things that was errors and there was things that I would pull out and you would find like petty cash and stuff like that. That's why we got done with petty cash. We had one where we were spending, one of the departments was spending like crazy amounts on just silly things. So we'll look at it and we'll make sure it's more defined.
Like I said,
I know it's a
understand.
computer operated system in what they use and how they break it down.
All right, so I'm not sure, Mayor, if the computer system allows it, but we'll look into it.
We'll
yeah.
look into it. I'll meet with
Like I
finance.
said, I understood when I saw Cablevision and there were different entities underneath Cablevision, but it should be broken down into what actual department, separate it from that, keep it in alphabetical order so that we can understand, but.
It is separated through a requisition that they submit.
So, Mayor,
That's
it's
not what I
his.
saw online, though.
Okay, so
And it's confusing.
I'll look at it after and we'll speak to the mayor and to the clerk about that. Thank you. Carlos?
Carlos Martin. I'm on the zoning board, but I'm here as a resident, and that's a great segue. So I got that billing list, right? It's actually sorted by vendor number. So
Okay.
for example, which I wanted to ask you about, the Interstate Waste Service of New Jersey, you guys assigned a vendor number to it, INT 24. So it's in that alphabetical order. The one comes before it is Industrial Welding Supply, IND 01. So it's in that order. So it's not by department. It is difficult. I agree with everything.
And I really, Carlos, my answer to that question is it's something at the software. I mean, if the software allows us to change the way it's printed, we'll do it, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, and I didn't see any information around department, even following that.
Yeah.
So anyway, okay. The reason I have those copies of some of them I cared about. So the Interstate Waste Service, right? They're charging us monthly. Now, this is because they're weekly now, right? They're picking it up weekly. $136,000 a month, right? So what I tried to find out was, last year, were we getting charged the same number? Because that's what I was expecting, right? We said, well, hey, we got a great deal. We're going to be paying the same amount to these guys, but they're going to pick it up twice, every week. I couldn't find that. So maybe get back to me or whatever. I just want to make sure that what you
Right.
told me, which was we're not paying any extra, is true.
So one thing I want to add in this conversation I had with the business administrator today is we actually spoke to the vendor today because as we're going through the budget, the business administrator wasn't here at the point that we negotiated with that vendor.
Right.
And the business administrator called me with some questions. He said with some of the fees that the vendor, and actually the vendor agreed to me today that he's not sure if the numbers are 100% accurate and he's having his department coordinate with the business administrator over the next couple of days. So I don't want to comment more on that yet, but I'll get back to you, Carlos, on that.
Yeah, because it seemed high. And then the ones you guys just approved, we're actually getting charged for February and March.
Yeah.
2
Yeah.
months, 2 months at a shot.
And that's why we prompted during the budget. We're like,
That's why,
yeah.
and the number's
Yeah.
so big for that subtotal. Okay, 2 more, well, really just one more. So we're also paying Owen Little and Associates, and we're paying RC Shea and Associates, right? Lawyers.
Planning board and
The
engineer.
Planning board? Okay,
Owen Little is not an attorney.
okay.
That's Doug Lee.
What struck out to me was that in the description, and I see it a lot in other bills too, professional services, for Emmanuel Lutheran Church.
Sure.
And a lot for houses of worship and then different houses of worship. So we're paying a lot of fees.
The
for-
applicant, it's my understanding, Mr. McGuckin, correct me, the applicant actually pays, it, and we as a township are the conduit to pay the vendor. So an applicant comes in front of the
Pays
board,
us.
they put money into escrow, right, Mr. McGuckin?
Any applicant before any of the boards pays a deposit into fees to be charged by the township for review of their application. So the fee to Mr. Clee, for instance, that would have been paid by the developer into the township, but the professional has to be paid by the township itself.
Okay.
So the applicant pays the fee, the township pays the vendor.
So we're paying
Understood.
that church and that synagogue, but it's really the developer, we're the
Okay,
applicant.
okay, so got it. So the money for this payment that we pay is coming from a fund or a reserve that the contractor put into, something like that.
It's an escrow that the
An
applicant
escrow.
is required to pay in in order to have their
Okay,
application heard.
yeah, that wasn't clear, and it looked like we were paying it. It was like,
Yeah.
why am I paying
We are
it?
paying it, but we're paying it for, yeah.
Yeah, at the end of the day. Okay, so those were my two bill questions. Yeah, because I just see that, I don't know, something must be going on with Emmanuel Lutheran Church, because it's like all over the place. But okay, fine.
I think they got an approval about a year ago, and they're probably just in the middle of their site plan and some of their work, so they're paying the vendors who are reviewing probably their applications and their paperwork. That's probably what's going on.
Okay. Yeah, and I wasn't surprised to see the houses of worship, because we do see a lot of that coming into the planning and zoning board. Okay, so I'll just touch on two things. A lot of people spoke about it already. The lawsuits, I'll just give you my opinion on the lawsuits and the fact that at the end of the day, it's the insurance company that determines whether we settle or not, and it's all based on dollars, right? The insurance company saying, look, it's cheaper, just settle. And I think, Mr. Paul, you brought this up once, where we're just getting sued left and right, and when we decide to settle, kind of what's left out is, what's the message you're sending to the person that sued us, right? Basically, you're saying, hey, don't worry if you don't get past the zoning board, because all you got to do is sue them and they'll settle and you get what you want. That's a bad message, and it's not financial. I get it, but anyway.
Anyone else? And I'll just want
Yeah.
to answer. Obviously, we have that dilemma always in the back. But when our attorneys and our insurance carriers tell us there's a limit, and there's sometimes you want to send a statement. I think everyone, agreed with that $2 million settlement that we needed to settle. I think the disagreement may have been how much, and there may have been a disagreement on the process and who was to blame. But at the end of the day, sometimes it's the right thing to settle. It's not always easy. So
Yeah.
let's go on to the next
My
person.
comment was more about like the ones against the zoning board or planning zone,
Welcome
when we
to
say
America.
no, and then we get sued.
Carlos, we got to.
Anyway.
Welcome to America.
All right.
Lieutenant?
Yeah, I wanted to say I agree with what James said about the budget. There's
Thank
really
you.
no reason for it to be
Joe Candido, past public safety director, and a resident. I'd like to briefly clarify something for the record. There seems to be some confusion regarding the public safety director position. The position itself was not eliminated with the lawsuit that previously happened. It was me that was eliminated because of the incompatibility issue that there was. And Attorney McGuckin had brought that out previously. And that's why I was removed from the position. The position itself, though, is still a good position. It's important to keep these facts clear and correct, okay? There are plenty of towns throughout New Jersey that both have a public safety director and a chief, and it works fine. And to Mr. Terafenko, thank you. You're doing a great job. From a personal note, as far as a business administrator, I've been here through multiple business administrators as a union leader and as an employee. And Mr. Terafenko is probably the most engaged BA that I've dealt with in the 27 years that I've been here. So thank you for that. He's responsive and he gets the job done, and he communicates great. As far as the public safety director position goes, the position itself was not the issue. It was me. Thank you.
Thank you. Council? Oh, there's a resident coming up.
Mel Tudor, Right to Bow Road. My opinion of town government, state government, federal government, they got it easier nowadays because of social media. I see the same complaints over and over and over again posted by residents in Jackson. Illegal rentals, porta potties, trash totes, busing, welfare fraud, illegal building litter, legal parking, and faux cops. Okay, we're finally addressing the litter. I don't know why it took this long. We have E-codes that already address it. And basically, the litter codes say that if you own a piece of property, whether you're a business or a resident, you're responsible for keeping your property nice and clean, nice and neat, keeping the litter cleaned up. I think it's a shame that we have to have a special meeting and people going out and getting it. Illegal building. I see this town council has set a precedent. I don't know if all these postings are correct. I'm not going to say I do. But the last time I read, we're up to 16 illegal buildings, people adding on to their building. What that tells me is that no one was given a fine. No one had any kind of repercussions. Some of the codes say that you can actually charge $500 a day. I don't see that. We could use the money. There's a petting zoo that I've seen comments about going on for 2 years, I believe the residents said. At $500 a day, that's $365,000, which we could use to pay off our lawsuits. Busing in this town, okay, as it was brought up, that was mandated by the Supreme Court. That rule went back to 1947, that all busing has to be paid for by the town. Fortunately for the Jews, they don't have to worry about balancing the budget. The town has to worry about balancing the budget. In 2018, Asbury Park Press sent a reporter out to Chateau Drive in Lakewood just to get an idea of how much busing the Haredi Jews kids were. They had 177 students. It was 35 buses because they have to segregate boys and girls. Mathematically, the LSTA has buses that go 54 to 72, so even at the low end, mathematically, that would have been 4 buses versus 35. And if you figure maybe 2 were for the high school, 2 were for the grammar school, and 2 for the the middle school, that would have been maybe 6 buses. So what I see, and I don't know for sure, that busing Haredi students costs 4 times more than busing public students. I've seen articles where they say twice or 3 times as much. I suspect it's 4 times as much. And it's not in the religion that they have to have segregation. It's a tradition and a preference. I've read multiple articles by rabbis themselves saying it's a tradition and a preference. As a matter of fact, in 2011, the High Court in Jerusalem made it a law that you can't segregate men and women on buses. And the reason why they made the law was the men were actually assaulting the women because they thought that they were sitting in their seats. The women go to the back of the bus and the men sat in the front. It was like a Rosa Parks thing. So their preference we are paying for. I've checked with other people. Oh, and I didn't mention, I have Jewish bloodlines, by the way. I do not practice Judaism. I consider myself a Christian. Okay, but I do have people I talk to in my family, and they say that the only ones that actually do practice this segregation is the Haredi. And if somebody else wants to dispute that with me, I'm fine with that. Some communities have actually used curtains to go down the center aisle so boys can sit on one side and girls can sit on the other to keep costs down. I don't see that going on here at all. Okay, we have illegal rentals. Okay, that took, 16 months after after the November election. So 16 months to actually do something about that. And you're missing the point on that. I brought up last fall.
Ma'am, I'll give you another 10 seconds.
Excuse me?
I'm going to give you another 10 seconds at the clock.
Well, I brought up last fall about making Jackson a non-sanctuary town. And everybody got all excited. I gave you the information from Howell. You finally did it. What I don't see is you cleaning out any of the illegals. Has the zoning board, or not the zoning board, excuse me, the code enforcement, have they gone to these building sites?
So, ma'am, your time's up. I'm going to ask Council Vice President, he wants to respond to you about one of the things you brought up.
Just to talk about the busing for private school students, each student gets a certain amount. It's
Yeah,
not- So
1,177.
the LSTA could use 4 buses or 1,000 buses. If there's 10 students, they're getting the same amount of money. So the amount of buses doesn't make a difference. It's the quantity of students that cost the money.
No, because I've read multiple articles where they don't have enough, the buses aren't always full.
The Board of Education pays per student. It doesn't matter how many buses the LSTA chooses to use. It's per student. The issue is that it's a state mandate, and now we have 8,500 students. They need to pay for that state mandate. But the LSTA could essentially use 8,000 buses for 8,000 students. We're still going to pay them the same
And
amount.
Council Vice President, that would be a losing business proposition. If they get 1177 per student, they want as many students as possible. Otherwise, no vendor is going to pick up that run when the runs are put out for bid. There's a legal bidding process, which is overseen by the state, and no vendor would pick up a run for 2 kids or 3 kids for 1177. That would be, you can't pay your driver, you can't pay your gas, you can't pay your insurance. So not every article that you may have read may be 100% accurate.
Oh, I agree with that. That's what I'm saying. But here
Yeah.
again, if 177 students require 35 buses because they got to disperse to different schools and by
the Board of Ed,
by gender.
Ma'am, the Board of Ed's paying the same amount no matter what. Does anyone else? Just time's up. Anyone else?
But here again, what are we doing about getting the illegals?
So, ma'am,
reported?
your time is up. Okay, you can speak to the administration after about the update on the rental issue in town. Council, Vice President.
Anyone else? Seeing no one come forward, I motion to close public forum.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Could I have a motion to close?
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Thank you for coming out, everyone.